I don't think I have, but I could be wrong actually.
Yeah, it's all good. And also in here in the room, of course, we have the man of the hour in a sense, one of the best players in the world, and a man who's so good at this freaking game that we require an entire debate about it. Sonix, you in here?
Yes, hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
Everyone please press 1 for Sonix. Again, thank you very much for lending us your time this evening to actually have this conversation. You must realize how good you are at something for this to happen, right?
Yeah. I kind of figured it would happen. I just thought it would be more so for offline more than online, but I guess this is just a preview of what's to come.
It might be, but I think if there's transparency and communication, everyone can understand more. And I think, obviously, even though my job is content, this can be beneficial to everyone once we get like an understanding on everyone's side, and that's why I wanted to do it.
Of
So
course.
let's just get right into it. And again, I'll remind everyone who wants to be part of the call, you can, if you have a stream call access from Isatis, my moderator, you can hop in and chime in anytime you want, and you can just kind of like raise your hand in chat. So we're gonna start it. The main reason this all began today is because I made a tweet after you two played grand finals last night. And when I was doing my commentary and it was a long day and I was kind of, pretty tired at that point, the one thing I did notice was the view count. And then I went into the data afterwards to see what was happening. Didi, which was I guess the dark horse in this case, the player who people didn't expect to win but might have won, went all the way through losers, finally got to you, Wrath, I believe, losers finals, and then decided to drop out because they didn't want to fight two Sonics, so it was kind of funny. But the moment that he dropped out, usually when you have the usual suspects in grands, you'll see a dip in viewership. But I noticed a severe one where we went from 3,200 viewers all the way down to 2,200. We lost about 1,000 people just for the sake of it was U2 in grands. And I'm like, even that seems severe. So I looked into the data, I found the charts that I can pull up here. And I was like, damn, I've never even seen that before, even of my own tournaments. So I guess I'll start with you, Wrath, on this because obviously you're the newer player between you and Sonix to make grand finals more often. Does this trend to you? Do you think it correlates specifically to a narrative of it being the usual guy always wins, or is it more laden in the character? In other words, how much of this do you think really is Sonic, and how much of it do you think is just you guys being too good at the game?
Well, I'll preface with that being said, in regards to whether it's a player, a character, or the usual guy that always wins, I think it's more a matter of the game's current state more than anything. I think it being the guy who usually wins, it plays a part in it, with it being most of the time Sonics and Spargo, 9 times out of 10. Um, to say the character, however, I wouldn't necessarily agree with, due to the fact that even for the longest time, Coinbox has been going on since like 2020. I'm not sure how long Sonix has been going on and making grand finals for consistently, but even to that aspect, it wasn't nearly as much of a dip as it was according to last night's data. And even prior to that, I'm not sure if you're able to pull up the statistic, but there have been times where it's been me and him and did in the grand final ditto before, where I haven't really heard the same argument as towards the graph. I'm not sure if you're able to still pull that up, because I know there was like a coin box like a month ago where it was me and him in grands as well.
I can, yeah,
But
I can try and pull that up for the time being. The one that I saw was most recent because they usually Stream Elements usually sends me like the viewership graph every once in a while. So I have most of them. I don't know if I have all of them, but I can check for you. But I have like also the stats here of like the winners for each one. To answer your question on how long Sonic has been winning, I mean this goes up until the the juice box. So juice box September 9th, 2020 was the first. I'm sorry, no, before that, July 1st, 2020 was the first time Sonix won a juice box, and remained pretty much him and Spargo to be the most frequently people who won between that and Lunchbox. And then when Coinbox started, it really just became pretty much the Sonic show with the occasional Spargo wins in there too. But you notice even when he doesn't win, he gets second place. And Yeah, and hopefully Rockman gets in here because he has a really good statistic on that. But yeah, it's to answer your question. It's become a very mainstay staple of it, and the only time where I see the viewership not being affected as much is if specifically Spargo is in the mix against Sonix, given their rivalry.
Mhm.
Anything else, I do notice a dip.
Are there dips in regards to when it's like me and him, or me and us, Sonics playing against Shiny Mart? Because that's also something to take into consideration as well, as those matches are also very long-winded.
Yeah, yeah, I can check. The one that I pulled up was right here, and it was you guys, right? February 7th. That's the one I put on Twitter, and someone asked, "What's the last time there was no Sonic and Grands?" And I literally had to scroll up, like over a year ago, or I think just under a year ago to February. There was one with Mo, Shiny Mark in Peru, but I couldn't find the
Mhm.
viewership for that one. But I did have the viewership for this one, Riddles and Shiny Mark, and that one rose up very, very high, as you saw. Or it was, it got very high. It kind of stayed there, and it didn't have that initial dip during Grands that you saw. It went to Grands, and once it was done, it went straight down. But if there's a certain other example you want me to show you, I can probably pull it up. You guys played January 17th, 2024, so I can try and find that one. And that was actually the finals of the inaugural Coinbox for this year. So while I have you, Sonix, what's your thoughts on this? While you're here, while I pull up those stats on the same question.
On whether it's the character or the player.
Whether it's the character or the narrative, like whether it's you being too good or people not wanting to watch Sonic.
I think that it's a combination of both, for sure. More so the narrative, I think, because like it's something that we have seen throughout Ultimate's lifespan. Like when Leo was dominating, as good as it was to watch, and I know like people reminisce about it these days and talk about how, oh well, like I want Leo to win again. I miss back when Leo was good and stuff. But like back then, and like this is something that he has told me too, that he would see, and people would, or some people, right? Maybe not the majority, but some people would still be like, man, I'm tired of Leo winning. Can somebody please beat him? Or it would just be like, oh, here we go with Leo's Byleth again. Like I'm tired of seeing his Byleth, you know. So people would complain. Now, how significant the dip is, I don't know the statistics from back then. I don't know if anyone does, but I do know that at the very least the sentiment was there. So I think it's a mixture of that and also the character. I feel like, but more than the character, I think that it's also a lack of enthusiasm when it comes to the character, and when it comes to narrating the character, and when it comes to commentating the character. Period.
So embark upon that too, or expand upon that a little bit. So you mentioned enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And so you're saying, why do you think people wouldn't be enthusiastic towards Sonic? Because Sonic isn't the only, I guess, zony character in the game, or the other one that plays kind of a defensive play style. Or do you think he's in his own category with that? Do people just not understand the character? Is that why there's such disdain for him?
I think people don't understand the character much. That's a point, but also I think that people kind of try to dumb him down a lot more than what he actually does, and so people frame what Sonic does in a negative light. Like it's very easy, and I see this with newcomers, with people that maybe it's their first time at an event, maybe they're not even at a convention or at a tournament for Smash, but they're there for a different tournament or for a different video game, sorry. And they walk up to me or they walk up to people in public like, yo, like wow, like I didn't know Sonic was so cool in this game. In the same light, of course, you have people that say, man, like I've heard people say, wow, Sonic is moving all over the stage. That is so cool to watch. And I've also seen, damn, Sonic is moving all over the stage. You can't catch him. That is so boring to watch. So I think that you can frame things in both a negative and positive light. And I think that throughout not only Ultimate's lifespan, but also actually No, when Ultimate first came out, and when Sonic he wasn't necessarily redesigned, but people kind of thought he was, and I guess in a way he is different from Smash 4 at the very least, right? And people thought like, wow, Sonic is so cool because he can do so many things now. But after a certain point, like back then, obviously Sonic wasn't doing as good, aside from Ken, who was basically a household name at that point. And so when other Sonic players like myself started doing good and started beating people, obviously it was Wi-Fi. Like, it started off with Wi-Fi, and I won't say that I didn't time people out, but when that happened, like, people grew to hate Sonic again, and then it became the whole narrative of like, oh well, Sonic is doing this and it's boring. And I think it also stems from players, like said players that would lose or get upset or whatever, just like saying, man, Sonic is so boring. And then as influencers, the community would also follow their opinion, and that, like, those said community would also influence other newcomers who were just introduced to the character or the scene. And I think that it's a narrative, and it's a narrative that can be created with that has like been created in different aspects as well. It's not just Sonic, it's not just the character. Like, you know, we've seen it with Steve, although I think at least with Steve it's a bit more justified, I guess. But I do think it's also a matter of how things have been framed since the release of Steve. And also with what I was saying earlier about like Leo winning so much and being so dominant. And so I think it's a combination of a lot of things, really. But
so I wanna point out right here. This is from January 17th. This was the first Coinbox of the year. Steve Legal and Leo was in this. And the interesting thing about these graphs is that you can just looking at it, you can get it tells a story, right? Like, if I had to point to you at what point you thought MK Leo got eliminated, what would you point to?
Wait, sorry, can you repeat that again?
If I had to ask you where this is a viewership graph, right?
Okay.
So if I had to ask you where on this graph did MK Leo get eliminated from bracket, where would you point?
I'd say the peak of the chart.
I'm not. Wait, are you streaming a screen to us?
Oh, it should be on. Is it not on Discord?
Okay, I see it now. Sorry, I didn't know that was going on. Okay,
yeah, my bad.
All right, so now you're good.
Right here. So that would be 9 p.m. Oh, are they gone?
No, we're still here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So right here, 9 p.m. was when Leo lost. And so what you usually see for these tournaments is like it'll climb, dips, climb to grands, and then right after grands game 5, it'll just cut off right there.
Yeah.
What I notice with whenever you guys are in grands, this has been the second time now, is like right here, it's like it declines when grands starts because I think of the Sonix Ditto. When it's Sonix versus Spargo, it maintains. When it's you guys together both there, it does that initial dip and it goes down, which I've seen in Melee too when I was a Puff, when it was me and Armada playing the Campy Fox Puff Ditto, or Fox Puff match. It happens pretty often. And if you look at last night's graph, you see something really, really cool. And you start to understand what people, I guess, really like watching. And I can pull that up too, because this was last night, right?
Okay.
This peak right here, do you know when that was? Can you take a guess on what happened there?
That was
Brujo Shiny Mark, maybe?
Brujo.
Yeah.
Correct.
Brujo
beating Shiny Mark. People love upsets, and people love the idea of like the underdog characters doing well. And it actually was because of the variety. There also was Jackal Spargo, which I believe was here, if I'm not mistaken, in losers. But Brujo, a King K. Rool upsetting a top 3 seed. It's a great thing, right? I mean, like I said, everyone loves a good upset. Game was good. The energy was there. The hype was there. It was a good time, right? Everyone agreed.
Yeah.
So this now gets to the next part of the topic. Content versus competition. A lot of people were asking me, HBox, wouldn't you even banning a character in the first place? Currently, we have Steve banned 3 weeks out of every 3 or 4 weeks out of every month. And given the results of you guys, I'm starting to wonder if that's even the right call anymore. That's probably why I started this conversation too. Yeah, Dinosaur, give me 1 second.
I have a few thoughts I could throw into the ring from a long-time viewer who subs to.
Yeah, Dinosaur, hop into the to the debate if you want to. But what I was saying is, I think it was Rich Brown who was asking me. He said something like, "What is it with you wanting the most viewership instead of the most fair competition?" And Chase, you can hop in here too. And what I wanted to say about that is, if you guys want me to run a free tournament with no prize pool and everything legal and viewership doesn't matter, sure. There you go. We can do that if you all just want to have a grind thing. But one of the reasons that I was so adamant about supporting Matchbox was so that you guys could have that. You guys could have as much practice as you wanted, no viewership needed. It's just you versus the competitor to grind to give you guys that integrity. Now, if you want to play for money, a $3,000 prize pool, I don't know how many times I got to say it, but money does not grow on trees. Sponsors do not fall out of the sky. Everyone wants something out of it. What I was able to offer Team Liquid and Coinbase was a product that thousands of people, usually 3K average, would tune into every single night. However, if that product becomes something that people don't find worth their time, maybe someday, by 2025, we might not even have prize pools anymore. They might just say, like, it was good, but we see it's declining. We don't know about it. I don't know. I'm not them. My job for Team Liquid and Coinbase is to provide a product that can be as entertaining and as good as possible and to drive signups to their platform. That's my job on Team Liquid. Full transparency. And to do that, viewership is important, in my opinion. So, it's like, do you guys understand? And I want to have both you and you two guys specifically answer this, because when I loaded the topic of a once-a-month Steve plus Sonic ban, everyone, and you guys included, felt it was very targeted. But when you think of last year, right, there was 2 coin boxes for Ultimate every month, with the other 2 being Melee. We went back and forth, right? So we had, 21 Ultimate coin boxes last year? This year, we're going to have at least 40, right? So you guys, even if I was to do like one a month where it was like Sonic and Steve banned, you would still have more opportunities to make more money this year than you would last year. And for the sake of the series continuing into next year, I wanted to do some variety to continue it. In other words, if you wanted a higher chance, technically speaking, of Coinbox existing in 2025, this is why I was doing it. So I'll start with you, Wrath. Does that angle make sense to you as to why, even just once a month, I would want to experiment if it meant having another year of coin boxes?
It would make sense under the context of if the conversation was more about what could we do to make Coinbox as a whole more interesting.
Sure.
And I only say that because if it's once a week and there's 4 coin boxes in a month, how is the one coin box versus the other 3? So let's say top 4 is still in any order: Sonic, Spargo, me, and Shiny Mart. If the other 3 are going to still be the same in terms of who's in the top 8 or top 4 or top 3, so on and so forth, how does that 1 week help the viewership at all? It'd still be the same story. It would just be at a different time. At that point, it's like, in a sense, it's kind of not necessarily delaying the inevitable, but it's just like, it's not going to, at least from my perspective, I don't think it's going to help in the long term. What I would think would help in the long term, if it's for the sake of content and variety, is having things that would help the community more, such as like or what the community may want, such as an Arcadian or more doubles event or a different kind of theme event, and during the first week of any given month.
Doubles coin box, you mean?
Yeah, like a doubles coin box, like the one that's happening next week, or like an Arcadian, or like whatever, to help with the variety. Because the variety for the first week, if Sonic and Steve were to be banned, it could be Shiny Mark timing out whatever character for God knows how long at that point, for 30 minutes, and it would be same story, different character.
Okay. Now, to that, I will say variety is something we are going to have already, right? we are going to have a doubles coin box next week. We are doing the Smash 4 finale coin box before the server shut down. We are going to try low tiers and mid tiers, probably between there, maybe in March. Like, these are all things that we're going to want to do, and things that I think are much, much worth exploring than running the same vanilla over and over. Now, maybe it'll get to the point now here where, and I get to topic 3 here on the Steve question, right? And the Steve question comes into play here. The same way that you guys might feel that having no Sonic at an event once a month targets you guys, does me banning Steve target those top Steve players that honestly don't even make top 8 that often? And Rockband, you can join now, and Chase, you too as well. If there's any Steve players that want to chime in here, what makes this fair? And I might make it, this is an open discussion. What makes the Steve ban fair in your eyes, but that the Sonic ban is not fair in your eyes for once a month?
Well, for me personally, I don't know how Sonix feels about it in his own words, but for me personally, in regards to, let me start with the Steve part. The Steve ban came around more so after the discovery of the anti-hit stun, whatever that was called,
MLG.
PLMLG, whatever that's
Yeah,
called. Yeah, that ban discussion came from a literal game-breaking tactic versus this current discussion is coming from two Sonics who are constantly in top 8, but it's the same players. It comes off as more so punishing us. It comes off more so as punishing the Sonic players for putting in the work and effort that they have done so far throughout the years versus, oh, there's this game breaking tech and we're not too sure about it, so for now let's just put this character in the corner.
Yeah.
And then when we also look at the stats for it, there were, in the last coin box of the first coin box of this year where Steve was unbanned, there was 12 or 14 Steves total in the top 96, and then there was 8 this coin box, as opposed to 4 Sonics, but 2 of those Sonics is top 3 in the world,
Yeah.
and the other
Let
Sonic
me
is constantly working with them.
let me hop in here really quick, just because I just looked at my room and holy, we just got invaded by Steve. So in the room now is Didi, Onan, Brockman, and Smacks. And before we all get into this whole thing here as well, one thing to retort your topic right there is going to be, you mentioned the amount of Steves that are present in top 96s versus the amount of Sonics that are present. And to that, I'm going to actually have Rockman step in here, because Rockman has actually a pretty good vantage point on this. So Rockman, if you want to explain what you were tweeting earlier, and I'll go ahead and pull it up, by all means, feel free to hop in. I see him in the chat, but I don't hear him. Rockman?
I think he's nervous.
Oh, he just left. Oh wait, he's back. I think it's his audio messing up. While he's fixing his audio, Didi, I do have you in here as well. Good run yesterday. Your thoughts on that topic, which is specifically right now we're talking about this number of Steves that are present. Oh, Rockman, are you here?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what's up, man? Okay, Rockman, did you hear the question I was saying earlier?
Yeah, about the data that I got for the coin boxes.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start talking. I'm gonna pull up what you posted.
All right. Yeah. So originally, I had this data for when we were going to do the whole Steve Ban debate that ended up not happening for a while, so it's kind of just been sitting there. But when I saw this, I got the data back, added on some new things from Coinbox, and granted, I could have done top 8s. I only did top 2 because that was available on Smash Wiki, and I saw in total, including just mains, Sonic was present 62 times out of every coin box in the top 2, starting from when Steve was legal. Now, this data obviously isn't like fully representative of everything, because again, it's just top 2, and for a while, Steve was banned in Coinbox, so there was a lot less chance for him to make it up there. And with Steve being second, it's still, pretty notable. But it does go to show a lot of the times that even in this top cut, or like just top 2 even, it's some form of Sonic one way or another. And while, yes, both Sonics and Wrath are like amazing players, that doesn't deny the fact that, Sonic is pretty much a guaranteed staple, which many people may not like to see.
I see. So you're mentioning that even though the Steve players do outnumber them, because Sonic is that prevalent in top 2, he takes up a lot more of the screen time, if you will. Which again,
Yeah, primarily that. And while, everyone's always talking about like, hey, there's this many Steve players in like top 96 or whatever. When it comes to viewership, you don't really watch a major just to look at top 96 and then you see top 8 and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to watch top 8. Top 96 is fine. I mean, nowadays you might, given the meta. But, when it comes to overall viewership, most people are going to skip everything and just pick top 8 should they get the chance to. And when you always have Sonic in that top 8 or top 2, I can understand the viewpoint of why some people might not always enjoy watching.
Yeah. Also, to answer Xenosate's question, wow, I wonder why HBox isn't acknowledging it's just Sonix. You're an idiot, because Wrath got second place and top 4 for the past, number of coin boxes. Hush. Damn, dude. Do your research. Barakman, thank you for that. So I'll retort
Quick
back
question
now.
on that statistic.
Yeah,
though.
Wrath, go for it.
How many of those, at the top where it says like 62 Sonic, how many of those were Sonics and I?
Almost all of them. Almost every single one.
Every
Okay.
single data point from Sonic was from between you and Sonix.
Every single one?
Every single one, as far as I'm aware.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, then to me, it's just a matter of it feels like it's like a punishment for doing too well in that sense.
Yeah.
Because it's literally only us two.
But wouldn't you think there'd be more? This wouldn't be happening. You would think in a. Hey, Kels, I see you in here too. I'll hop to you in a second. You would think in a fighting game, right? There's gonna be one character at the top, but the gap from 62 to 29 is. I mean, you can go back down here and see how close the rest of them are appearing here all throughout. That it grabs your attention. I've been in the scene for 17 years, and this is all the reps for grand finals, basically. For those of you just tuning in, this is everyone who was in grand finals. And you can tune this data, of course, in various ways. You can look at top 4s, top 8s, top 96s. If you do top 96s, Steve appears a lot more. But I would say that this graph right here, because it's grand finals, will result in the most screen time and probably at the point where viewers will either dip or fall based upon what it is. But Kels, I know there's some things you wanted to jump in and talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. First off, thanks for having me. Hey, guys. And I kind of have a list, and obviously I can't go through it all. One thing I did want to say is talking about the stats of viewership in general. I work in marketing, and studying analytics and such is always something I need to pay attention to. And if we really think back as to just general viewership when it comes down to Smash, I mean, the viewership peaked at EVO 2019. It has never gone over this number, which was 279,000 in terms of viewership. And that was before the release of Sora.
Sure.
So when Sora did come out, I kind of had a theory that once this DLC is going to drop, the viewership will start dropping. And which only makes sense. Smash has literally sold 32 million copies. Now, is 32 million people in the competitive scene? No, right? I mean, if we really talk about it, it's not even 1,000, but viewership-wise, maybe about 10,000 of those really enjoy watching Smash on a day-to-day basis. I was looking over some stats from the past month, just taking a look at how much the viewership for Smash in general has gone down. And just within the past year, exactly, the hours have gone by down 14%. Viewers have gone down average by 24.6%. And they are maintaining an average at 3,600, which is lining up with your coin boxes, of course. And that comes down to the hype of it, right? It's not even just Smash, it's Nintendo Switch, where Nintendo Switch is getting on year 8, 9, something like that. It's getting old, right? And we're very much in this hype wait list of when is this next console coming? It's trending every single day. We know it's coming. There's hints all the time. We know that Smash will be having a new game.
Inevitably.
That itself is a way of people having hope and putting something else on the side. Same thing happened when Brawl was coming out, right? Melee was like, oh yeah, everyone, we're gonna wait for Brawl. Like, do you remember those days? Everyone was super excited. It comes out, whatever. Brawl, Melee was better. Let's go back there. And then same thing with Smash 4. Smash 4 was on its way. Those last 2 tournaments of those years, I remember that back in 2014, the attendees were like 260 compared to Apex the year before being in the 500s or so.
Yeah.
So it's going to go down.
Yeah, to retort on that, clearly, and this has been brought up, obviously, we are in an esports winter. I think viewership across all esports is down, which is obvious. This is very obvious at this point. In the microcosm of Smash, which is something we can control, Coinbox has remained kind of healthy in terms of viewership since its inception, right? And attendance-wise, even better. So we've had now, whenever I advertise a Coinbox and I have people enter, regardless if it's Steve League or Steve Band, we have minimum 600 people enter. And the first one of the year actually capped. So first of all, kudos to the Ultimate community for supporting it that much. It remains the biggest fighting game weekly in the world. And I do think that's something we should all be very proud of for doing so. Because there is potentially a new Smash tournament on the horizon, or a new Smash game on the horizon, obviously one day there will be. But even still, if we look at the patterns of what it is, whether it's an Ultimate Deluxe version or a Smash 6, that's going to be a huge shift whenever it happens, and inevitably a balance to the game. But let's say we have 2 years left of Ultimate, right? And this is where I want to also get the opinions of Smacks and Onan here. We'll start with Smacks for this. If we have 2 years of this game left, and we have now a trend of 2 characters that are incredibly, by and far, winning more than any other character in this. It's basically Sonic wins the most, Steve appears the most in brackets, and Spargo, being the one exception, second best player in the world, happens to be the one guy who occasionally breaks the trend, only if it doesn't get upset in bracket like it did last night, which happens. So, given that the game, let's say it has 2 years left, should we use the remaining time to give either something that's more entertaining or give something that is more valuable to competitive integrity if there's only so little time left for it, even if it's once a month? That's the question. So, Smacks, if you want to chime on that, go for it.
Of course. Hey,
Bruh.
thanks guys for having me over.
Yeah.
To turn in on that,
I'm
that's
muted.
definitely a doubt that not just you, but a lot of people have in the back of their heads.
I have a lot to say.
We are like 5
But I think that
years
ultimately-
into Smash Ultimate at this point.
Yo, what's up, show?
And I feel like when it comes
Has anyone
to
except
not
Sonix
just
won a Coinbox
when it
with
comes to like the
Sonic?
rule
No.
sets and the competitive
It's
integrity,
not happened.
a lot of people,
It's literally
especially
not-
top
it
players,
literally
have
has
kind of
not
commented
happened.
on the sides like, it's kind of crazy that we're 5 years into this game and we don't have like remotely like a global stage. Throughout the 5
I
years
think that
the Smash Ultimate has been around, like it's even like character bans aside,
the
a lot of
arguments.
people have just come like, yeah, we've been like these
Wait.
rule sets, whether we use the strikes, the stages,
Like,
have for every major have buried.
I think that
and
ultimately
it'll just be the stages or
it
the,
is
the rule
HBox's
sets,
position,
and it's just
and I
become
think
a
that
bit
whatever
of
we say
after
here
much
right
time
now
without
does not
any
fucking
kind
matter.
of attempt to actually like have it legalized or standardized, like to have like a even like a sort of guideline where, hey, you can have for your local or your region or your
But you
major
admit though
disc
that it's killing the
rules,
views. I don't
like
fucking know.
wherever
You think
you
I give
want because
track?
it's
You
your
think I
region,
keep
it's your
track?
local, it's your tournament.
You think
But
I give a
we don't
fuck
have like
about
a
that
general
shit? I
guideline,
don't.
like, hey, it's
Of
recommended.
course, I'm not gonna.
This is your timer.
I'm not
this
gonna
is
pay
your
attention
strike,
to that. I don't care if he says it does. If it shows me the
procedure,
data, then sure,
and
it does.
and
I don't
after
care.
so much time with none of the, like no like organized,
And if it
like,
does,
attempt
there's a lot of
try
people to blame.
get everybody like on board for
More
competitive
so than the
integrity.
players playing
It
the
just becomes like,
characters.
well, I mean, it's been 5 years. Like, why even try at this point? We like you said, the mentality of, well, maybe next Smash game, we'll try that sometime. Maybe we don't actually know if we'll actually try that with the next Smash game. So it becomes a bit of like, well, we already don't have a standardized like rule set or even stage list. Why not at least try something new now? Try
That's like part of this was us trying things out once a month. It wasn't a blanket thing. It was just like, Let's try it and see
Exactly.
what happens. If it doesn't go the way we want it to, it's fine. The same way, right now,
Guarantee any
we're
other fighting
trying
game
out
tournament wouldn't ban a character for being boring.
Schrodinger's
That's crazy.
box,
They don't.
right? And we're trying out a rule set where we
They don't.
allow Steve once a month to see what it is and how people feel about it. And as far as I can tell, the Steve players were happy, but the results is that Sonix continue to win regardless of Steve. So I'm thinking, should I even ban Steve anymore? Right? Is Steve even worth banning? And I look at like this right here, how many times it was used, and it says yes, but then now it's a weird line. It's just like, should anyone be banned in the first place? And what is actually healthier for the game? I'm just the guy who calls the shots for the tournaments. I mean, the shots that I can call, because there is still a team behind Coinbox, there is still Liquid, there is still Coinbase, there is still my TOs. It's a discussion for everything. But when I'm seeing, if we're trying to make it the least problematic tournament experience for both the viewers and the players, what is the right call? And for that, I'm going to talk to Onan and Chase and have them chime in here. Onan, of course, champion of SmashCon 2022. Are you in here, Onan?
Yeah.
Bro, I
what's
literally
up, man?
haven't even
And
talked.
Chase, of course, who recently picked up Steve and is kind of
Like-
terrorizing
Oh,
California
Chase,
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start
What I was
with you,
gonna say,
Onan. Given what's been happening
yeah,
here,
I'm gonna take
you
my
have
headphones off, 'cause
Sonix,
this
one of
is
the best
just-
players in the world, winning.
Let me know
the online
if
event
they call for me to speak.
more than anyone
Actually,
else.
I'm gonna keep
But
them
now
on,
you
but I
have
can't really
Wrath,
focus on
another
what I'm trying to
very,
say
very
with
good
them on.
player, meeting him in top 4 very, very frequently with the same character,
like-
and there being a proven decline in
Yeah, there's a
viewership as
lot
a
of
result.
people. I think,
What is more important here? What do you think
Like-
the right call is? Any opinion is welcome. The floor is
of
yours.
course,
Well,
yeah,
I think
Sonic is
Smack's
gonna
kind
ban
of brought up
anyways.
like a good point where like we can't really.
I would
decide
leave,
on
but I'm not. I
everything,
mean,
and, like
I'll stay
it's
just to
kind of
see.
been like that for a long time, and like Sonix and Wrath are both really good. Like, I'm not gonna like discredit them or whatever just because it's Sonic. I think Sonic is also like a really good character, or whatever. Like, he fluctuates between top 1, top 2 for me, but I'm probably just biased.
What the fuck? Top 1, top 2?
Like, the Steves that are in Coinbox just aren't making top 8 either. Like, regardless of like how much there are. But I feel like that's more so just on us too, because our player base probably isn't as good.
Right.
Where I stand, I don't know, because we can't really. I don't think any one decision is gonna make everyone happy at the end of the day. So, for me at least, I'm on like a competitor standpoint, because like I don't really watch the top 8s that much, honestly.
Sure.
But that's just me personally. Just because like I'm more of a competitor than I am like a viewer.
Right. So you're feeling that in the terms of this, it's not just about like,
I mean,
how,
I think
how
that
good the character is.
at the end of the
Well,
day,
like the general question I have for everyone, as much as everyone is like bamming in my ear,
there's literally
is
like
what allows the
viewership
most
is not
people
consistent. It's not going to be consistent ever.
benefit from this? What allows both the viewers and the competitors and the individual player bases? What allows everyone to get their piece of the pie in a fair way? Because clearly there is a problem, and clearly we need a fix. And maybe the fix is changing the stage list. Maybe that's what gives the variety. When I was embarking on the other parts of these topics, and I'll get to the 4, 5, and 6 in a second, but I'm still on 3. Is the idea of changing other aspects of the stage gonna fix things? It might. Sonix, I'm sure you remember the nice little fair rest I got on Yoshi's story. That was hype. It made things a little more like feasible in terms of what it is. But
remember.
before I get to that, I'm also gonna hop to the other people in here. Let's go. Let's start with Chase, and then we'll
Yeah,
go
but
to
he said it's what
Snake Man
keeps his
versus Arbok.
sponsorship
So
going for the
Chase,
prize
what's
pool.
good, man? Tell me your
Hi,
thoughts.
man. What's up? Thanks for having me.
And that's
Tell
fine.
me your thoughts on this situation.
That's fine.
'cause we have quite the topic
But I
here.
think that there's ways
when you first
to
tweeted
go
about it, my main
about
thoughts were
like
I don't think we should ban Sonic because punishing Sonix and Wrath, I've seen them both. Like, I'm one of the people who has taken few sets, but sets off both of them on Wi-Fi, right? So I was like,
Sure.
we shouldn't ban this character. I don't think people really know what they're doing in Sonic, whatever. But then you brought up the fact
Wait a
that
second.
this
I'll
is for
continue with my
the terms
idea.
of viewership. And if you're going for strictly from a viewership angle, I think that Sonic should absolutely be banned at least 2 times a month, honestly. Because as somebody
What the fuck
that
is
watches
Chase
Coinbox
saying?
every night after I end my stream,
He had us in the first
and
half.
I'm really grateful for Coinbox,
Not
right?
gonna
Because
lie.
it's on my stream. It's the best practice for me at home that I can get when I'm not at a local. It's a great thing for
What
the
the
community,
fuck?
right?
Somebody kicked this.
I
motherfucker.
cannot sit there and actually make myself watch a Sonix and Wrath set, a Ditto, or a Wrath and Shiny Mark set. I can sit there and watch a Sonix and Spargo set because those are the 2 best players in the world, in my opinion. I would love to watch that every time. But as for everything else, and that's, my opinion, but I think a lot of people agree, like the stats show, nobody really wants to watch a Sonic Ditto or Sonic on
why
Wi-Fi.
are you, like, we're getting
do you
punished
think
for being
having
good at
that
the game, bro.
grand
That for
finals be a
inconsistent. Because it's
frequent
like he said,
it's gonna
I'll tune in
hurt
for
viewership and sponsorships potentially over time.
every time, yeah, I think so. I think
I'll
so.
tune
I
in
mean, if that's what you're worried about,
Sonic
mainly is
Spargo,
viewership
but I'm not
number,
going to
I
tune
really
in
think it'll
for
hurt.
Sonic Ditto.
Let me get a
Well, it's not
response.
Wrath's fault. It's
Let me
not
get a
my
response
fault
from either
that
Wrath or Sonix on
it's not our fault that we
Chase
just
has
beat
said.
people, bro.
My argument for that would be is at what point do you draw the line in the sand at? Because if I sit down and I have, let's say, for example, I have Shiny Mark T-Jolt camping someone 7 minutes at a time, or for the sake of the argument, I have Icy Mist and another Samus doing the Ditto. Would viewership not drop all the same? Because I can look at Twitch chat all day and I
Wait,
would
sorry,
see
what
them
did you
constantly
say?
complaining.
You comparing the Samus Ditto?
No, I'm bringing up the Samus Ditto as an example, along with talking about Shiny Mark T-Jolt camping for 7 minutes a game, depending on the matchup, of course. Would the argument not be the same in terms of viewership, as no one would want to watch those sets, being honest?
Well,
Which chat already complains as is when they see a character that they don't like, and 2 of them just multiplies that.
Yeah.
At what point do you draw the line in the sand in a game filled with characters that people do not like watching? Which is why I said earlier, it's more of a game state and what the current meta is, rather than it actually being a problem of, oh, there's 2 Sonics, we don't like watching Sonic. It's more so it's people don't like watching the game as a whole when it comes to a large fraction of the cast, just being honest.
Let me get Chase, go ahead and answer to that.
So I agree with what you're saying, but you and Carlos, or Sonix, are the only 2 constants in this situation. So until that becomes a problem, until we see Icy Mist and Quinn in grand finals, and the other problem is that Sonic and Steve are undoubtedly the 2 best characters on Wi-Fi. In what order, I don't know. Everyone can have their own opinion. But as of right now, they are the 2 best characters online. Like, there's no debate on that. For me, at least. And until another problem arises with other characters, those are the only 2 characters that are going to be talked about having a ban for. Because, like, again, yeah, where do you draw the line? For me, I don't want to watch Jazar's doc. Spam, be reverse pill. But Jazar's a great player. People love that. Twitch viewers love that. I'm sure there's people who would love to watch Icy Mist play a charge shot campy Samsung Coinbox in top 8 over watching Sonic, Like, that's all opinion-based. What the facts are is that you and Sonix are consistently doing well in these coin boxes with one of the best characters on Wi-Fi, and the viewership is consistently going down when you guys are playing. So I don't think that the other character matchups are really relevant right now because we're not seeing that. I think this is
a lost case. This is literally
the characters that are causing this issue right now.
So I actually want to go against that really quick.
Kels, we'll do Kels, and then I want to hear actually Sonix on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I completely agree what Chase is saying, and I also really agree what Wrath is saying, to the point where, yes, the main problem is Sonic is not easy to watch. His moveset does not complement an aggressive approach, and approach where fighting game enthusiasts and esports enjoy watching. We want to be in each other's face and hit the crap out of each other. Samus at least can shoot something from across the room, so that is some engagement that is very fun. But when it comes down to Sonic versus Sonic, or Sonic versus whatever, Sonic has hit second, and that makes it kind of doleful, which is
Lego Marvel superhero.
Now I'm trying to imagine a world where Sonic and Steve are banned. Okay, awesome. You get rid of those guys. This is going to change the meta. Sonic is considered a quote-unquote counter to Steve. Steve is a quote-unquote counter to most of the cast. Now, if these 2 characters are gone, matchups are going to change. Meta is going to change. You're going to have some kind of these 2 characters, whichever is which, in the online world, that's going to be coming up on the top again, and they're going to find themselves in grand finals. And we will be having this discussion once
Give your
again in a
mindset
few
on how you approach
months.
the game, to be honest.
100%. It's
So you're
happened
saying
in Brawl, it's happened and
it's
so
like a
on and so
slippery,
forth.
it's the slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
Where if
We're
we
gonna
ban a
fix the
character, then the
problem.
next best character will go to the top, and the next one, and then it'll never end, sort of thing,
It's never
right?
going
Or,
to end. Absolutely not.
but don't we think, as Chase was saying earlier, can't we as a community agree that I personally don't think that would happen
I don't either.
because of the
No.
nature of
I got the
Steve and
perfect argument.
Sonic
I got the perfect
being as
argument,
good
guys.
as they are. I
Don't
think
worry
they
about it.
have
Don't worry
those
about
two
it.
characters specifically have an inherent edge, especially online over the rest of the cast that other ones don't. That's what I think. But I'm happy to be wrong.
And absolutely, I see that point of view. I don't agree with it totally
I already
because
made a
the
point on
fact
it
is
earlier,
our
but I'm
community
gonna make
is
the
a
point
lot
again.
younger and a lot, let's say, we have different rule set and different mindset when it comes to esports and Smash compared to any other esports in fighting games. We don't see Smash the same ways that others see their fighting game. We are very independent. We're a party game, and we're going to have different opinions that come from a very casual audience that affects our mentality and viewership. When we alienated Steve, viewership didn't go better. It didn't get better. Hey, we banned Steve. The viewership went down because you are alienating the casual audience that enjoys watching
Party
Steve
game?
Minecraft.
From which tournament did it go down?
So I'm going based on the stats on Twitch in general, watching Smash, not considering Coinbox. This is on Twitch. So
Well,
when
okay,
you're
do we know that's not related to the esports winter instead? I think it's. I will say my counterpoint. I don't think we can prove.
Wait, can I also ask a question?
Go for it.
That was because of Steve. Yeah,
Do you have the actual statistic of a Steve band tournament? Like, I think Let's Make Moves, New York, the last one was Steve band,
If you
and
want
then
us to
a
ban
Steve
Sonic,
Legal
do it instead
tournament
of
with
wasting our time.
Akalamia. And
Right.
Legal, do you have those stats in front of you?
So I can get it for sure.
Yeah,
I
that'd
know
be great.
the first tournament of the year is
Que
always
pongan
high,
a Sonix desde Grand
right?
Final.
Yeah, of course.
That's something to do too. You're gone for a month
Bro.
and you're completely burnt out. And then it's like, yeah, tournament, hype. Everyone loves Let's Like Moves, right? It's always something to watch. That's something to consider as well.
This isn't the only way.
I
got
but yeah, in
you.
the
I
other
got you.
context,
Look.
for sure.
I got
That's
you.
something that's not looking forward to, especially when you come
No
off of a
casuals are watching
tournament that
Coinbox the
Steve
fuck.
or
I
Sonic
feel like
has
most
won.
of HBox's
Already, if you are
audience
hating those characters, you're just
are
like,
casuals.
oh, this person
Or
won.
at the very least, people
so
that were
now I'm not going to
introduced
watch the
to
next tournament.
Coinbox
That next
by
tournament
him.
is going to get affected.
Yeah, let me get there's an individual in here that wanted to bring up a point. Let's get Snake Man versus Arbok, and then we'll get Sonix to chime in. So Snake Man, what was your thoughts on this?
Yes, hello. So I'm a relatively casual viewer, but I recently watched something from Lumosity Gaming's Easy Freezy. And
Okay.
they made a very insightful video on 2023's
Hello?
meta. They actually got stuff from every single top 8 set in 2023. And I just like to bring some of those statistics to you guys
Sure,
so
go
that
for it.
we can...
Donated 5 and got in.
So, first off, this is the average game time for Sonic compared
Letting
to the
anyone
average
out.
game time of all of those top 8 sets. As you can see, Sonic's average game time is 4 minutes and 25 seconds compared to the average of 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I will be sending all these PNGs in the stream call. So that's a 55-second difference. Sonic is one of the lightest characters in the game, and yet despite that, he seems to die about the same percentage as the average, which is 135.36%
The whole
compared
thank you for the prime sub, appreciate it.
137.13. The kill percent
Not the
is
match
also very
stats.
similar. Again, 1 point. Sonic kills slightly above the average.
The actually meme.
And I think the most important thing for my point is I'm going to be showing, if you're able to put these on stream, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to be,
where'd you put them in? On which chat was it?
it's in the HBox stream call chat.
Me parece más aburrido ver un robo hacer Nair P11.
Yeah.
Nair P11 side B en bucle que tú
Okay, I see it.
Sonic.
Yeah,
Aparte que
you-
tú Sonic, al
go
menos
for
ya no lo juegas tan
So
fácil.
here's what I think is really important is here's the death percent
Dude,
for every
like,
single
what the
legal
fuck?
stage. And then here is the match time average for all of these top 8 sets in 2023.
So what's good about shit? Sonic Sonic
And
Smash is a
if you
point.
look at these data
Yeah, bro. It's,
side by
he
side,
can tell you the Super Sonic. It's
you'll
unfair. Ban Sonic.
notice that they are very similar when it comes to percentage and when it comes to time. The difference between Smashville and Battlefield in terms of time is only 18 seconds. And something that Easy Freezy brought up is that a lot of the blast zones are very similar across the competitive stages.
What is this
I
trying to
think
prove?
that what we should really consider is
I'm gonna join the court as
offering
Luminosity
more
Gaming
counter
and tell
picks
HBox
like
that he can't ban
WarioWare.
Sonic because my dad
I
works
think
at
that
Nintendo. Go.
offering WarioWare or
should.
Yoshi's Story as a counter pick
Go for it.
would hypothetically be a nerf
Go
to
for it,
Sonic
Del.
because there's less space for Sonic to run around in. There's more ways for a character to kill Sonic very
It's like
early.
how social media CEOs prove yeah.
That is what I think. I think that we should offer more counter picks.
Okay.
And I'd like to get what your opinions on that.
I am the biggest PS2 hater in the entire earth.
That's
I'm very biased in this.
That's a decent argument, but
absolutely
that's variety. Like
the crazy little stages. I think
Same
having
thing. Bye.
WarioWare, fuck it, Halberd, no, not really Halberd, but like just stages that directly counter those kind of play styles, for me, is a great
You're thinking for the 6
solution
months,
to
man?
do it. And
28
it
total is
allows
crazy.
everyone to still
You're
play
strong,
and
too
still
strong,
use their
step proud.
character. And maybe that's what we need right now, too. Maybe it's worth to actually do it.
Yeah, like let's think about Castle Siege, where Sonic might be on the left, but that means he's probably on the low ground, and then a character like Terry might be able to use Power Wave to pressure the ground, or use like an aerial or
Spin
forward
shot.
tilt or something like Power Dunk.
Me looking at the spin shot on the table.
I think that having more counter pick options will definitely help in the matchup. I'm curious to hear what Sonix or Wrath have to say about the potential of what would a WarioWare counter pick on Sonic look like? Do you guys think that that would be a thing where Sonic might want to play on this stage, or Sonic might potentially burn his ban on counter pick, which means that characters can go to a better stage for the matchup? What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, let's get. Thank you for that data, by the way. Press one for my boy Arbok. Thank you for that. That's actually very insightful. Sonic's, given what you think it is, and given that maybe this is the compromise that we might need throughout this tournament series. Obviously, I would have to go with this. I have to talk about the stage list to a lot of people and go over it and over and over until we get it right. But would that be a compromise? A very anti-Sonic stage that you think would make things more fair, entertaining, and still valid for everyone?
I think that's fine. Can you hear me, by the way?
Well, I don't know if you want me or Sonix to go first.
Wait,
I was gonna get Sonix first, and then you, Wrath.
Can you guys
if
hear?
You're still here.
Hold on.
You still here, Sonix? He might be dead.
Wait. Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yeah, Sonix, I can hear you.
What about now?
I think.
Wait, what the hell happened? Hello?
I think.
Hello?
Mike.
Hello?
Zomba, if you want to hop in, go for it. Yeah, Sonic, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. So
we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. So So what's your response to Arbok's argument here about the stages being the solution to here?
I mean, I think that's a fair point, and it's actually related to the point I was going to bring up, which is that I think that people. Damn, I think my wrong mic is set up, but it is what it is.
You're good. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you pretty well, yeah.
All right, cool. But I was gonna say, I think that the tournament organizer or the streamer can also just make the match entertaining, even if it actually isn't. And an example of this is Coney literally making me timing Gluto out entertaining to his audience.
Coney's so good. I love Coney.
And I think that ultimately, there's multiple ways that you guys can go about it, honestly. And the stage list being one of them. Obviously, I'm not saying speedrun Mario 64 like Coney does, but all I'm saying is it can't happen. Like, you can do it. Like, there's ways to make it entertaining. And then again, which also brings me to my next point of, I think at this point it's too late to try to change the negative connotation that exists or that revolves around Sonic. But I do think that maybe trying to be, because I've seen it. No, I'm not trying to like point any fingers or make any examples, and I'm not necessarily referring to you.
Dude, point away. We're allowing all
Point
this.
the fingers.
No, because I'm not trying to say like, I'm not trying to say, oh, you do this or accuse or anything. But I have seen people like not even you, like even like top level commentators or top level, like at majors and at super majors and stuff, like when they see Sonic on screen, it doesn't happen with me as much, so I'm not gonna say it happens with me, at least not as of late. But I do see it happen with other Sonics where they go on stream and the commentators just tune out. They either stop talking or they just start talking about something else, and they just start being very monotonous about what they're saying.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
also going to drive the viewers away.
So
So
why do you think that happens? Why do casters tend to tune out when they see Sonic gameplay on the screen?
it all goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I think that it's kind of like when you play telephone, right? I don't even know if that's what you guys call it, but when you say something, when you start saying something, and then whoever, like, the more people say it, the more twisted it'll be. And I think that that's kind of what happens in this game, where people with really big influences have said things after a specific moment, and then their fans and their community repeats the same thing, and then the people from the community's friends repeat the same thing, and then newcomers will, and then that negative connotation just passes on, and it just keeps going on and on and on, and it's a cycle. And I think that it's gotten to that point where it's like, because I'm telling you, like, you can literally watch a VOD of me at 2019 Genesis 6. Even like, not even just me, but any Sonic before quarantine, you can watch any VOD, and you'll see that the commentators were actually pretty enthusiastic about commentating Sonic, and they would always compliment how Sonic is cool in this game because homing attack is fast, or because he says ha when he does it. Like, they would, say the smallest things, like, speak positively. Yeah, sorry. What?
Let me. I see. There's two casters in the chat currently. I know Cirque want to hop in here. Coney, I saw you too. If you want, Cirque. But if you want to hop in and give your point on this, because I know there's definitely things you wanted to mention regarding commentary towards Sonic. The floor is yours if you want to as well. So I say this, if you want to bring them both into the call, you can. I'll say when it comes to me, I'm completely guilty of tuning out during the sets. I'm going to say it's because I've been sitting down for 8 hours, streaming, casting, playing, producing, all at the same time. I'm giving myself a pass, but yes, I am guilty of it. I apologize. But for me, I get more invested when there's characters that are much more interactive. And when I saw like the Brujo versus Shiny Mark set, to me that was fascinating because it's something I've never seen before. And it's something that when I get excited, I can translate that excitement to the stream. And when I can't get excited, it's hard for me to, like, believe it or not, like, my pop-offs and, like, my excitement, it's not a fake thing. Like, it's actually, I feel very strong about certain things. So for me as the producer of the stream, that's my point as well. Hopping into the stream or hopping into the discussion, I see Coney and I see Cirque coming in here. So Coney, if you have your objective opinion, also hello. Happy to have you here, Coney. If you have your objective opinion, what's your view on the topic of Sonic entertainment versus casting and how it affects it?
I think this is a stupid conversation. Sorry, I'm coming in kind of late. I haven't been listening to the whole thing. I've been watching my kid. So, couple of things. One, Sonix is absolutely right that the narrative has shifted over time. One of the reasons I did the Mario thing is because it was funny, and then everybody started doing it, and I'm like, wow, this kind of sucks because I'm trying to I'm having fun, right? I'm being a joke guy, whatever. And then if everybody does it, it's just actually disrespectful at that point. And I get that everybody's jumping on the joke, whatever, but I think it goes a little bit too far. And I don't want to do that actively. I think, like, okay, so whenever WarioWare comes up, everybody's like, oh, Coney is stageless, whatever. I want to make it clear, I would love WarioWare, I would love Halberd, I would love Frigate, but I will always be on the side of the players. I think the players come first always. And I warn viewers about, like, it's really a monkey paw thing, man. Like, I don't necessarily, I would love Wario more than anybody on the planet, but my job is not on the line. You feel me? Like,
right. So my question to you would be, like, what made you start, like, this is kind of the point I'm trying to get everyone to realize, like, for instance, what made you start doing the Mario 64-bit? Was it because you were bored of the match?
It's just a dumb magic trick, because it's just like somebody had an idea in my chat, which is like, I bet you could finish Mario 64 before Sonic's finishes. The trick here, the gimmick, not to, like, take off the mask or peel the curtain, but, like, many Ultimate sets are 20 minutes or longer. You can finish Mario 64 in 20 minutes reliably. It's not that hard. So it's like, I've done it with the tweak. Ludo, the first time I ever did it was, I think it was Lod Aklo or Rishi Aklo. It's like, and that was me, right? Like, that shit, I'm sure I could do it with one of your sets, probably. You and Lod, like, I think it's like, I did it with Sonix because I kind of, leaned into the sort of sentiment at the beginning, but I'm trying to lean away from the curve because I see it going a little bit too far against Sonic. And I think when it's one guy, or in this case two guys for this discussion like Wrath, I worry that people buy too much into the shit that we're selling. Does that make sense? Like, we're making jokes about it, but like at the end of the day, I respect the hell out of Wrath and Sonix as competitors. I'm allowed to make these jokes, I think, because I have a basis of understanding. I don't want people who are tourists or, viewership, like people disrespecting these guys' crafts. I think I don't want to be a part of that. You get what I'm saying?
We can all agree. Everyone unanimously agree. These players are ridiculously skilled. There's the only way they get that far, regardless if you use Sonic or Steve, Ivan Ooze, I don't care. Regardless, if you get to consistent top fours at coin boxes, you're clearly very good at the game. And I want to now get the perspective of Cirque, who is in here as well, another caster, on the exact same question. And Cirque, if you want to have any topic on what Cody was talking about, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. First of all, I think since I'm the odd one out here, I'll be the first to say thank you for having me. First of all, so excuse Falcorino in the back; he's a little noisy sometimes. Just before I show my credentials, I guess I'm just gonna preface this by saying that I disagree with Coney, but I don't think he's wrong. And I'll go into detail after my credentials. If you don't know me, my name is Cirque. I'm a bilingual commentator from Mexico. I've had a fair share of great events under my belt. I got, sorry about that, Smash Factor, Delfino Masa, Reta 2022, Super Smash Con 23, Port Priority 8, and a couple more in the States. Last year was my good year, I guess, my breakout year into the States. I live in Tijuana, same city as Fargo, so I get that perspective, I guess, from both the Mexican side of things and the American one as well. So I'm so sorry about Falcorino. Okay. He's rowdy right now.
We can hear you. It's all good.
What I meant about disagreeing with Coney is that he's right. We have a responsibility as commentators to not throw shade at the competitors, and it becomes. And I know that this might sound as a critique. If it does, it's because it is. We cannot just go out as you know what, this is a boring match. Oh, he's gonna go spin dash again. How fun or how exciting. It's, dude, you're getting paid for it. And even if you don't like it, you have to perform well. No matter if it's round one or pools, losers, it doesn't matter. You have to outperform. And your duty as a commentator is to make people excited. And Hungrybox, you mentioned earlier about how you get burnt out, right? I mean, you've been streaming for 8 hours in a row. You get a pass because you're the face of the stream. But then you get commentators to come with you. And I'm sorry if I get passionate about this.
Like it's something that I'm point all the fingers you want. We heard to have an open talk about this.
It's you have people to work with you. And when you have to come in 8 hours into the stream and pump energy into it, it's like, dude, what are these guys doing? And I'm sorry, I think a lot of commentators are extremely talented, but talent is not enough when you have to like force yourself to do it more. And I've talked with Last about this a couple times before. I don't know if like we're in good terms because of that, because I'm very adamant about what I think and I believe. Having talented people or people with clout or people with plenty years into experience like Coney, by the way, you're fantastic. So please don't take this as a personal jab. It's just that you guys have a bigger responsibility, right? So when you said that you try to stray away from hitting people or to bring this narrative of, oh, it's boring, I'm gonna speed run another game, it's like it's in detriment to what we as commentators are supposed to bring into the table. So again, coming back into, I just wanted to rant about that. And coming back into the discussion, it's like, okay, so you've got a problem. You've got an overrun of Sonix, right? What is this? Yeah, I think that's a perfect word for it.
Epidemic, sure. Yeah.
Epidemic. Thank you. Yeah. So how do you fix it, right? Banning is, I don't believe it's a proper option, because at the end of the day, I mean, you could, if you want a simple solution, is like, okay, so who won? So top 2 gets a payout, right?
Top 8 gets payout for a coin box.
Top 8. Okay, so full top 8. So top 2 are usually where top 3, depending on what, if someone pulls out what DD did earlier, like it just dips the viewership because you killed the momentum. Like when DD beat Meister, people was at an all-time high, like, oh yeah, Meister lost, right? And that's a funny headline.
Just to immediately respond to that, Cirque, if we take last night and the graph you see right here in front of you,
yeah,
it was me, I was streaming, we had Fabs and we had Juice co-casting.
Yeah.
I was watching. Do you think there is anything we could have done or said to prevent this dip? And
100%. Like, and
full honesty.
Full honesty. I don't care. I'll preface this by saying that I'm not in perfect terms with Fabs. I personally don't like his personality, his persona rather. But I do respect him as a commentator, and that's where my objectivity comes from, right? And a lot of people, a lot of co-casters and commentators that I think they're so talented, but again, you have this responsibility. Yesterday, it was just not there. Like Juice and Fabs, and I get it, right? You're casting for a couple hours, you're tired, you're seeing the same matchup for the 30th time in the day. It's like, I get it. It makes sense. But if you don't want to do it, or if you're not passionate enough, or you don't have the energy for it, you just don't take the mic. Because it's a disservice, not only for your stream, because it's your income, for the sponsors, for the community, and for the people watching. And that's why they left, because they didn't feel that connection.
Let me get the response. If Coney, and we'll do Coney and then PJ on this, on what Cirque said, and whether or not is commentating is part of it acting.
Bro,
in other words, do we have? If you truly don't find something entertainment, is it your responsibility to be honest, to be transparent, and have relativity?
I mean,
to the
dude,
it's a lost
It depends on the event. Like I worked Nintendo
do.
events, and there was an Ice Climbers that was literally just side being, and I had to pretend like it was the most revolutionary gameplay I've ever seen. And he got into like top 3 by doing side B. Like, I get it. We have a role. I do think, just to sort of talk about this, I do think there's a difference between somebody being paid to cast an event or to be part of an experience, or someone to.
I think
like, if I'm on my own stream, like I stopped doing the Mario stuff because I saw everybody doing it, but like I don't think I'm beholden to make Sonic look cool.
Like
if I'm
people,
at home. Like
people
in my
are
PJs,
saying
I'm not being
that
paid by the event, whatever. Sonic can be lame to watch.
People in chat are complaining about
that's
Sonic
just how it
Dittos
is.
and Sonic Grand Finals, and
but if I'm
saying
being
Sonic
paid to
was
be
running
at the
away
event,
for 7 minutes,
I think
but
that's a different
they literally did not
responsibility, a
watch
different
the
call.
match
I
because
think
that
when
shit
it
was
comes
fast as
to
fuck.
The coin box,
Like
and
that
that
was
commentary,
a
that
very
honestly comes on
fast
H-Box. Do you care more about the casters,
despite there being 2 Sonics,
correctly
and
representing
2 of
the energy and the
campiest
vibe of
Sonics.
the event? Because that's one.
Like we were going in,
like
bro.
that's one side of just like you got to get the energy in the room.
So
We
it's
also saw
like-
Big House last year. Like vibes were kind of low. The game felt kind of dead. And do you bring that energy, or are you gonna?
And that's the thing. Like people to this day still say like, "Oh yeah, just running away," and it's like
choose one of these two. There are detriments on both sides, and I think that's ultimately your call. Obviously, HBox.
My job as the HBox production sole producer and host of the stream, and someone who competes also too, and what Liquid and Coinbase expect me to do is to make that number as high as possible. That is my job as what it is. In doing so, I actually think the number gets higher by being transparent and being real to the people and being relatable. I think if you force something too much, people don't like it. I think it's very, very obvious that's the case.
I think the issue that you're running into, sorry to cut you off,
even if you are
I don't have a lot of
running away,
time.
I promise it comes.
I think the issue that you're running into is
I agree.
you're seeing the same thing too much. Like, it's not about if you had this happen once a month or once, twice, like once every 3 months or something, it would be fine because it's like, damn, this bracket really ended up like this. But do you remember that string where all of our top 8s was just kind of dog shit? It was just like the same things over and over. We saw it in Smash 4 where a bunch of top 8s. Sorry if you hear my kid in the background; she's going crazy. Like we just saw a lot of Bayonettas and top 8s, and they somehow kept clawing into the brackets, and like there was always like a regional one that got crazy. Like I think that what you're running into is the curse of a weekly with very talented players, and it wouldn't be so bad if they didn't have to do it every week. But people are going to tune out because it's a rerun, right? Yeah, if you're talking authenticity and being like a cultural touch point of the community, like a place where people come and talk to each other and like relish in this vibe of like, damn, this game kind of sucks sometimes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, reruns a great way of putting it. It does feel like
and it's nobody's fault. I personally don't think Sonic should be banned in any capacity. But that said, you've got 4 events a month now. Do what you want. I just worry about people are saying, we banned Steve. That's fine. Nobody's going to talk about anybody else. And here we are in a call with 12 people talking about something else. And it's like the slide. It does. We know how things go. Things tend to slide. I just don't want like, Sonic's banned for 1 week. Oh, wow. Now Sonic is banned for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Actually, the game's just better without him altogether.
Slippery slope. I totally get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and let me get now Jake in here because he was trying to chime in on this part of the conversation.
Thanks for letting me on. I gotta go. Appreciate
Coney,
it.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you for Coney.
Take care, Coney.
Jake, what's your thoughts on it?
I actually agree a lot with like Coney, but I also have like my own kind of view, I guess.
Sure.
I just want to play Steve, man. Like I don't even give a shit about Sonic being banned or not. It's just like no character should be banned in my opinion. Like this game's like fucking 5 years old and all that stuff, and like we can't, like we clearly just do not like have, I mean, I don't know, any sort of like governing body that can like really come with these.
TOs.
Like,
we have TOs and we have events and we have people that can.
Well, they clearly cannot make definitive decisions. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, for example, I mean, I don't know. Like
they're biased.
The whole banning Steve stuff, that shit came out of pretty much nowhere last year.
I was unmuted, but
What was that?
Hello?
Wait,
sorry. Nah, I'm muted by accident. Sorry about
Sonix.
that.
Yeah,
sorry.
go for it.
Nah, I'm muted by accident. Go on, Jake.
No, you're good. I mean, like, 1 week I was able to play Steve in coin boxes. Next week, he's banned because of this tech that didn't really like end up mattering and all this stuff. It's just like such a, like, Steve just seems like a scapegoat sometimes. Like, obviously, like, this game has like some, I mean, this game's not perfect. It's definitely like flawed and stuff, but it just like, I mean, I don't know. I just want to play Steve, man. Why is it so hard?
Can I
like,
add to that?
Yeah, Didi, go for it. By all means.
Yeah, so I'm like the way I like view this game, I view it from the player perspective because I play the game a lot, and obviously I don't think any character should be banned. I'm just looking at it strictly from a competitive standpoint, and I don't think Steve or Sonic are centralizing enough offline or online to be banned.
Okay.
So I don't think they should be banned, but I think there should be a compromise because the viewership is just objectively an issue. So that's why I think either both of them should be banned, just like only for like 1 week, like once a month or something like that. I think Steve only being allowed once a month is kind of goofy because I don't really think he's
very.
Yeah, I don't think Steve is significantly like hooding Coinbox. Like I haven't really seen any proof of that.
I will retort this, Didi,
maybe
by
I'm just
saying
like
that you are a Steve main, one, and
That
you're
is
the
true.
best Steve main
That
online,
is
I would say. And 3, you had the chance to let your character rock and to win the entire tournament, and you elected, your own words, to not play either Wrath or Sonix in the full sets because you quote unquote couldn't deal with the online.
I got your
Sonic.
message. In my defense,
I had to wake up in 6 hours.
I think it's a good.
I understand that too, but you're saying you would have played it out if it wasn't for that, or was the character half of the issue?
I think it was kind of both, but that's just me being like a little bored. But it's still, I don't really think my decision should impact. Okay, I don't think my decision should impact what other people think, because that's not really.
But you are literally the most like Onan. His wrist hurt yesterday, so he couldn't enter yesterday. But like, you are by and far the most successful online Steve, at least in my series. I'm almost certain of it.
I haven't entered Coinbox that often.
Man,
But,
when you do enter.
Right here. God.
Oh yeah, also
Oh,
yeah,
wait.
Jake.
My bad, it's Jake. Jake, that was
It's
my bad.
Jake.
It is Jake.
Hey, shout out
That's
Desmond.
my bad. Because Jake, you took
Oh
a
yeah,
break.
dude, that's another thing, dude.
You took a
Desmond
big
got
break.
robbed, but I feel bad for him. But yeah, I don't think any character should be banned. But I think experimenting with Steve, Sonic, or Game Watch or whatever other character to be banned like once a month or like alternating characters or whatever, I think that's fine. Just to like see what's happening, like see if that's going to help the scene and all that stuff.
Let me get a really quick PJ, if you're still here, if you wanted to give your 2 cents on this, what do you want to say?
Real quick. So I actually talked to Cirque. Oh, also hi everyone. I'm PJ. I'm here like almost every week at this point. I've commentated like a majority of the coin boxes for the last 4 months now, and then I also did IRL. And I did my first top 8 block with Scavs, and I rewatched it, and I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I think that my effort in that top 8 was probably the worst of the 3 top 8s I've done so far. So I'd like to apologize. Like, a lot of the commentary for me that day was just not like as much energy as I like to usually present. I really wanted to quickly talk about like how I feel about it, because Cirque said like it's our responsibility, and I 100% agree. Like, if we're getting paid for it, it should be our job to like kind of bring that energy and bring that level of professionalism at all times. HBox, we've worked together a lot. I commentated so many times with you in person and also like online in Coinbox. And I know my responsibility when I'm coming in for top 64 is to give you is to like bring energy, because you have been streaming for so long. So like, for example, I know like, okay, hey, I'm commentating top 64 today. I'm going to try really hard to bring energy, bring the play-by-play, bring the analysis, so that HBox can play a more of a supportive role, because he has 4 or 5 more hours after I leave to continue on.
He needs to rest.
Yeah, and I totally understand that. And when I get into top 8 too, I personally take that responsibility as well, where it's like, I'm getting paid to work this event. This is on HBox's like he's on his last leg of energy. Like, you've been streaming for so long, and I know like, okay, if it's me and Scabs or me and Jed or me and Charlie, I'm gonna bring all my energy, because I know that that's my job here, is to bring energy. So I think as casters, it's really important to bring that energy, and I definitely do think it's our role to do that. I don't think Sonic. I don't know. I'm like, this is my dream job, and to say like, oh, as a caster, we have like literally no choice over this. Like, the viewership is going to drop, and no matter how much energy we put in, it's not going to help. I don't like to think that way. I like to think that as a caster, my job is to keep everyone engaged, no matter what's on the screen. Like, no matter what I'm watching, I'll be able to commentate it. I've commentated people MS painting what could be happening because the Slippy broadcast dropped. Like, I've commentated over everything, and I've tried my hardest to give as much energy as possible, and I think it's our job as casters to do that for sure.
Yo,
and
y'all were
I
dogging
really like
on
what Cody
me
said, where he
for
said,
mentioning that argument.
It's also like kind of what environment you want, HBox. Like, do you
And
want
everybody
the
else is
casters
agreeing.
to play into that role of like, oh, I don't like Steven, oh, this is boring, or do you want to play into the role of like, we should be giving all of our energy into it? And I personally think that like, no matter if I dislike or like a matchup, I should be like trying my best to give energy for it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you, PJ, for that. If anyone wants to tune in on what he just said, by all means, hop in. And
wait,
go for
can I
it.
ask you a question, Bucks? Yeah.
Yeah, Chase, go for it.
I'm just wondering what you personally think the viewership would look like, even if the commentators were as electric as they could possibly be. EE and TK Breezy on the mic, two of the best commentators during these grand finals with Sonic Dittos. Do you really think that would? I feel like we're focused a lot on this topic when it really wouldn't impact it that much. Like someone brought it up.
I disagree.
And we can agree to disagree.
Hard disagree.
To answer your question, Chase, and again, there's only one person who's been present at every single coin box here since the inception, apart from some of my dedicated viewers, and that's me. And I've seen the viewership. I've seen the numbers. I've carefully, quietly tracked everything, a lot more than people might think. I wouldn't have made the tweet I did today if it wasn't like a holy shit moment, you know what I mean? Where I noticed like a crazy discrepancy.
Yo, Jams, what the fuck?
The casters would help.
You're alive?
5% of the viewership. It wouldn't hurt to have good casters. It would help it a little bit, but it would not fix the foundational issue. And that's my view on it. And I can prove that well, I'd give you some time to prove it, but I could show you that regardless of the casters, as excited as it was, it's much more important the matchup and what you're seeing. You
Chase
could
is
have
right. Chase is
you
right.
could-
Sorry, I came back. I just put my kid down. Yeah, Chase is right. It's again, if this wasn't happening every week, it'd be fine. You could bring that energy once a month, and I haven't seen this for a month. Every week, no, Chase is right. There's no way. You could be having the most novel. You get fucking yipes on the mic. Like it doesn't matter. He can make it as exciting as he can. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Chase is right here.
No, I mean, as someone that watches and like usually I'm playing Bounty or something, I don't even usually have the commentary on. If it's a Sonic Ditto, I'm gonna just turn it off. My second monitor, I'm gonna turn on
The
something else,
gameplay
so.
should like speak for itself.
Exactly.
What gameplay? What gameplay? What's the gameplay like?
Oh.
Well, I mean,
y'all talking about
boring.
gameplay? Y'all talking about turning it off?
If it's fun, it's fun.
Whoa, one at a time. Sonix is asking a question of gameplay, and it should speak for itself. Chase, what's your answer to that?
The gameplay of Sonic is just spin dashing from corner to corner in the Ditto specifically. You guys running up and
Okay. Can you Hbox? Can you pull up last night's set and point out where we were spinning from corner to corner the whole time?
Hey, I'm gonna let you
to
guys
be honest, I haven't watched it. I was not watching last night.
Oh, you didn't watch it.
Wait, can you let me finish? Can you let me finish?
You
before you guys
didn't
both
watch
start?
it.
Wait, this is what you guys do.
Easy.
We're on Hungry Box's stream. Let's have a friendly debate, okay?
You can always
Carlos, we've
mute
talked about
them,
this
man.
a lot, right?
Wait. Yeah, Chase, go for it.
We've talked about this a lot, right? The Sonic Ditto and how it's not enticing. And you guys are both great at the matchup. You playing Kane doing really well. Personally, I just would not want to watch Sonic Ditto because I feel like it's not very interactive gameplay. If you want to disagree with that, that's fine. I know you disagree with it, but for
Fucking
me,
Sonic mains.
I would not want to watch it. And I'm sure
You
a lot of
can't
people
Jedi mind
there.
trick people into thinking it's cool, man. Like I can't.
You can't.
I mean,
There's
I'm not.
no way to do it.
I mean, we can be nice. we
Sonic
can be
is lame.
nice.
Steve is lame. They're both lame.
You need a certain level
counterpoint.
of Smash literacy to be able to understand what Sonic is doing. Like
Coney-
that's the issue with you, Sonix, is that you are such a good player, but people don't see it because people aren't good at the game.
But you can
Right.
be
Yeah.
good or not good,
That
and
is
if you're a
true.
first-time viewer ever, stepping into a game, and sometimes we bring our families to tournaments, or we put on a tournament, and people there who have never seen Smash. There's clearly characters that are easy to follow. Like I would say, as a whole, Smash Bros is an easier game to follow than like League of Legends. 2 people on a stage, 3 lives, right? And you can tell when one match is probably more entertainment or more hype based on the commentary. That's why I said commentary helps. But you can also tell if you're looking at a game and nothing is happening for a while, why keep viewing it if you're a brand new viewer? I think what everyone's saying has a little bit of credence into here too. But, is it again the problem of the character, the problem of the player?
You could play up the tension of the moment. That's why timeouts are so cool in the last minute. There's a way for the narrative and commentators, they have a responsibility to say, wow, this tension is so thick. We're getting to 30 seconds left. That guy is up by 12%.
Yeah,
There's a way to do it, but you can't do it every single week. It's a weekly event.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I
Right, but
commentate,
it's
like,
not
every
about
week, I
like
think.
trying to convince them or Jedi trick them into thinking the matchup is good. Sorry about that. It's about looking into the actual good things happening, and this is why I agree with Sonix and Wrath. It's like, and why I disagree with Chase specifically. If you're not paying attention, if you're just watching them running around and bouncing and spinning, just looking for an opportunity to go in, of course everybody's gonna get bored. That's a no-brainer. We know that. But my main point against why I think it's not like, okay, well, I can't convince them it's fun. Sorry, it doesn't track because you are supposed to look at the good things that they're doing, pinpoint them. So even if someone hates the matchup or hates to watch a repeat, whether it's Bayonetta, Sonic, Steve Dittos, you're supposed to point out what's good. And that's where you can find, what's the expression? A turning leaf into what's happening and how much you can enjoy it. It's not about mind tricking them. It's about actually focusing on what good is happening and what is what is worth pointing out.
It's a difference of perspective. It's a difference of perspective.
And it's a responsibility that we have as commentators. You're not supposed to like make anyone believe that Sonic is fun, right? It's about making sure that people understand what maybe they're not looking into. Like Chase, he doesn't look at 2 Sonic fighting, Dittos fighting, so he's probably missing, and he's a top player. I'm not saying he's bad at all. I'm just saying that he's probably not looking at something that could be saved from that
Right.
boring
I'll
matchup.
say
Wait. Let me just say one thing here. We can all agree that having like a coin box or having a weekly series that pays players a lot of money and pays cast a lot of money is strictly a good thing for the scene, correct? Like
Right.
we can all agree on that. And I think what we all want, and this is the point of this call in the first place, and I want to remind everyone the topics on hand, is how do we make sure that this thing that is good for everyone, that should be good for everyone, continues on to 2025? Whether there is a new Smash game or not, what is the best way to find that middle ground?
I'd like to cut in here.
Yeah.
So first off, I mentioned my data earlier came from Easy Freezy's video. I'd like to have a somewhat cut down quote from that video. The biggest complaints are mostly geared towards top 8s because that's what most people watch. It's for the most part centered around 3 characters, Sonic, Steve, and Mr. Game & Watch. In a roster of 80 plus characters, these 3 have much more consistent appearances in the top cut. Out of the 40 majors in the 2023 ranking periods, only 3 did not have Sonic, Steve, or Game & Watch present, with 2 of those being in Europe. And
I don't know why this is the Bay
again,
LMAO
I
HH Boxes
think
event. You
that
can just
a
do
part
what you
of
want.
that
It would be
has
really
to
dumb to
do
have people finding
with
sets, but the
the
guy needs to do
stage
what's
list.
best.
And I think that if we
I
want
mean,
to
of
have
course,
Coinbox
but like,
I agree.
I think that
I
if
don't
we
know.
want to have Coinbox spread to as much as
But I
possible,
do think that
someone in
is-
general mentioned the idea of
Like, you can just
Coinbox
take one
Arcadian
rant
should happen,
and say,
and that will give us
like,
new blood. Ban
if you're
some
gonna
top 100
base your
players
argument off
maybe
of
once a
viewership, then you
month,
need a bigger
and
sample
have it to
size
where, you know,
because
you can have some new
just
people
saying,
come
oh
in
well,
and have some
there's
new
been
people
2
come in,
grants so
that
far of
might
Sonic videos.
change, that might change the
So,
viewership. That might
and the viewership
change,
went
you
down
know,
last night.
some new
So let's ban Sonic.
rising
Like,
star might come up from those.
that's silly.
And I think that at the end of the day, Coinbox should be much more experimental. We need to experiment with new counter picks. We need to experiment with allowing new players. I don't think that banning characters is going to do us good. It reminds me a lot of the Meta Knight situation from Brawl.
Whoa. I need to give a hypothetical to everyone.
Yes.
If I said, you know what, I don't care what anyone else thinks. It's my series. I got to do what I want. And tomorrow I announce the coin box that's happening on March the 6th, the first one of March, will have Sonic and Steve banned. Enter at your own will. And if our viewership hits 5,000 people that day, what should I do?
Well, I think that it comes down to a number of things. I think that having something with Steve and Sonic banned, it would be good for us to take the data from that. Take the data of, you know, how soon do these characters kill? How long do these games last? We should take the data and we should see, is that actually having a positive impact on the meta? Or is it just honestly people who are like, I just don't want to watch Sonic? I think
But
that
I understand that data is important here too, but when we're looking at just viewership, just
This guy's
the
on our
raw
side.
value of entertainment, viewership and entertainment are fully correlated with it going up. Because everyone can click millions of things to watch on the internet. When they click the stream,
I also think
they see
people
it.
don't
Whether or not
understand
they
metrics
stay,
as
that
much as they
correlates
need
to
to.
entertainment.
Viewership
Always
isn't
has
everything.
been the
There are
case.
so many
Whether
metrics
it's
that we track
cringe
for
entertainment
partners of
or whether
Let's
it's
Make Move
like,
series and
you know,
our other
super
events.
hype
And a dip in 2
entertainment,
grants is
something
dumb.
we'll keep them watching, keep invested,
Exactly.
maybe even a narrative, right?
Exactly.
So, if I was to run that and you said we have to experiment once a month,
Yeah, you should hop in.
Is that really as
should
much
hop
of a
in, though.
cardinal sin as people are making it out to be?
You can't. You might get more viewers because of the novelty of it, because it's a brand new thing. People are gonna be like, "Oh my god, this is so different." I don't think you punish your best player for winning in the game that you've made. I think it's fucked up
once a
to
month?
cut Sonix out. Sonix has consistently won it. We've built this game,
Go.
and now we're just like, "Hey, you win
Cody's
too
gonna
much.
go.
Take it away." I think that's fucked up. But
Yeah.
but
Happened
if
to
you want to
see
leverage,
too.
if you want to leverage novelty, if you get 5K from banning Steve and Sonic, obviously, you get 5K. Oh, shit. Okay, changing up the rules does that. All right, you know what? WarioWare Halberd Frigate. Let's try it. 5K viewership. All right, let's keep changing it up. You're going to make your players suffer because they're not going to get as consistent money. Sonic loses his weekly paycheck. But, like, if you want to sacrifice that at the altarship of viewership, or at the altar of viewership, go for it. It's
like
you
whose
know,
interest do I prioritize the most in that case? It really is, and we go back to this topic here, right here. Content versus competition. What is actually more important here?
The core
Is it
issue with viewership
series
is
existing
stale
more important,
content.
or is the players enjoying it while it exists? Like, you know what I mean? It's.
If you do the same
I
thing
can't
every week
tell
over
how
week,
to approach
it's
it.
going to go down. But you need to
Would I be
innovate
able to
content.
speak on this a little bit?
Yeah, Rockband, go for it.
Okay, so one thing I've noticed initially from the Big Steve ban event is that regardless of how you saw it, it could have been seen as a huge publicity thing. I know Texas banned Steve really early, and then the first week that they had Steve unbanned,
Yeah, that is true. Yo,
there
I'm
was a
telling you, should hop in, bro.
huge amount of entrants that came in. Like I think over
Or
100
I'm just gonna use your arguments.
which is insane. But you know, as time went on, it kind of dwindled down a bit, and you kind of made me realize it's more of a publicity stunt. Now, when we first banned Steve at Coinbox, there was like a huge amount of people who went in because, you know, it's again some kind of publicity. So what I'm thinking would work is perhaps like what other people are mentioning, like say, oh, let's have maybe 1 week instead of having like say 1 week Steven starting a band, maybe say 1 week let's make WarioWare legal. 1 week maybe let's do a random only event, something like that. Because at the end of the day, what keeps people coming back is the competition, yes, is the prize pool, but people want a storyline. People want something entertaining. And when you see
Viewership will
$3,000
grow
random
at
only
first,
event
but
or
after a few months of
$3,000
Spargo winning
WarioWare
everything and
legal
watching
event,
the same corner
that will
speech,
get
even
people
fellow
interested
viewership will
because
drop
not
and it will
only is
come
it
as they do
still,
now. Exactly.
you know,
Or
a
doubles
little bit.
next
Even
week.
if you have
Like
every single one of the top
it's a
6 clothing
shift,
brand,
right? It's something out of the ordinary, and that's why I think like when I brought the Smash 4 coin box in April,
Yeah.
people were like, they thought I was joking, and then you think about it, it's like actually
Smash
that's
viewers
so
are leeches,
we haven't looked at
IMO.
Smash 4 for
Elaborate.
so damn long. It could be interesting.
Yo, thanks for the
At
gift
the end
of
of
the
the day,
laughing man.
you
I
just
appreciate
need things
that.
that are interesting that still people can relate to because it is Smash, and
No, yeah,
you know
I completely
it's
agree
worth
with
saying.
that. Yeah, and another good thing I also mention is perhaps like you're saying we want to keep viewers in. Well, maybe every once in a while we can have on Twitter say a poll, like say what would you guys like to see for this month's special coin box, and it could be a poll between doubles, low tier mains, randoms, all that kind of stuff. Get the community involved, make them excited for this thing, and when they feel like they have a say, then they're more likely to tune in to see who wins this
There
unique
are a
event.
million things you can
And
do
you
to
don't
jack
have
up
to make,
viewership for
for
banning top
example,
player
ban
characters.
Steve, ban Sonic. You don't need to do
Literally.
that. Every single person in there still has a chance to play and give their own input without needing to worry about, oh, I'm getting excluded because I'm too good or whatever. No, you're just making a new fun event. You can still have the regular, you know, coin boxes or whatever, but adding a new fun side event at least once a month, get the community involved, and make it this huge spectacle that always changes up every month. That I feel is going to keep people coming back because it's new, it's unique, and it's just fun.
You ban the
Heroes
top 2
matter more.
characters,
I
then
agree.
another issue.
We
Exactly.
do agree that if there's 4 coin boxes a month on average,
Literally Steve, bro.
we can make 2 of them vanilla, Sonic legal, Steve legal, classic rule set, and we make maybe the first one of the month variety, and maybe the last one of the month we either run vanilla again, a different side of it, or maybe we do a game. You know, if I'm being honest to everyone, we're looking into running a Tekken coin box very soon.
Yes! That's
So
awesome.
I'll just go ahead and leak that now. I might as well leak it now. We're looking
Then you're
into it
banning
very,
Kazuya
very
Core and then
soon.
Kata
Well,
Pikachu. And then you ban
Love
everybody.
it. When we ran Street Fighter, the coin
And
box,
then you
apart
ban
from the
everybody?
fiasco that happened, until then, the viewership was absolutely incredible.
And when
for it.
everybody's banned?
And so when you look at it too, why
Nobody
did it have new
wins.
viewership? Obviously, it's the new game, but it's also unique too. You're taking what
If
is
you
the
want my
biggest
actual
fighting
idea,
weekly
you
in the world
just shouldn't
and
let top
applying
2
it
or top
to
4
a brand new
compete the
game,
week
getting
directly after
brand new
they win.
casters, and then getting
Yo, mods.
more people that piece of the pie too. So we're not gonna have a new game every
Nah, I'm
single
playing, I'm
time,
playing.
right?
I'm
We're
playing.
not gonna
Don't
have
actually ban
you
it.
know a new Nickelodeon or a
But,
multiversus or a new game drop every single week.
I
This is an
mean,
ultimate
I
series.
think that's
It was
still
Ultimate
dumb,
Melee.
'cause it's
Melee is gone
like-
now for reasons
You're
beyond my
banning me for
control.
being good at the
but it's an
game.
ultimate series. We're always gonna have that. So we have to create, in my opinion, something, whether it's a rule set, a stage list, something that works for everyone, that everyone is okay with, and they understand half
Bro
of it is
did the
for their
Incredible
own benefit,
shit.
and half of it
What
is
did
for
he
making
say?
sure Coinbox continues to exist.
I get traumatized.
And now that I
every time
have
I
you
say
all
one
here in
that.
this chat,
Can't
and
go
I
to
have your
bro.
input,
What can
I'm
stop
starting to
me?
understand where that's leaning. Kels, you wanted to chime in too, so go ahead and hop in, Kels. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to really comment. Well, one, I really, really agree over the past few topics, but I really like the idea of kind of, well, one, you don't take away the wins that Sonix has obviously earned very hard with, but to kind of maneuver that viewership engagement by dividing it between the multiple types of events. Like you're trying it out with doubles, side events, Arcadian. I think that was an excellent idea because just like Coney said, essentially you're running a weekly, a very large stacked weekly. And that weekly can get very, very exhausted where it's not that hype anymore. You come to the same thing every single week. It becomes a routine. And it should always have that kind of engagement when you're putting in new ideas, new stages, like considering stages that counter both either Steve, Sonic, whatever the issue is in the matter, mixing that up per season or so. Those are really great, interesting ideas that you should look into, changing it up, taking feedback, making type forms and seeing what people say about it. Hey, did you enjoy watching the last box? What didn't you enjoy? Things like that. Taking feedback on a professional note through forums is something to do. Squad Strike is something to look into too.
But you remember, if I was to do that and take feedback, let's say we I know obviously Twitter is not perfect at all for discussion, but like I look through almost all my replies because I want to know what people think. If I did a feedback form for today's replies, half of them would say ban Sonic, because at the end of the day, what's their interest, right? They're not getting paid by the coin box. They're not getting anything out of it apart from just raw entertainment. Maybe when they come home at the end of the day after work. So it's like, does their opinion matter less because they want to ban a character and it's like not competitively correct? Or should we value everyone's opinion if it's half and half?
Right, absolutely. So I think that comes down to what kind of audience you want to invite into your streams and to those who are actually watching the coin boxes. Are you targeting something a little bit casual, or are you trying to target the audience of the esports scene that is very highly invested on a competitive note or an entertainment note? And you have connections, you know everybody, you reach out to certain people. Hey, what did you think? Do you mind leaving some comments? Things like that. Those are some things you can do.
I mean, like the thing is, like you say sort of like where I can choose to invite what audience I want to bring it. The audience that I want to bring is the biggest one possible. You want to catch as many demographics as possible.
If Genesis were a weekly major, it would get boring.
A lot of that is building the brand.
Exactly.
Putting it as many places as possible, posting clips that go viral about it too. Like when I posted the clip of me hitting that fair rest on Sonix on Yoshi's story, it got 1.2 million views and the viewership went up to like 600 viewers concurrently in the next 5 minutes.
You gotta jump in and tell them the true issues of content.
So a lot of times I can't
innovation to keep engagement if you want to.
I want to watch it. If I paywall the coin box, which by the way, on Twitch you can do now. You can set subscriber only broadcast. We have viewership of
if I tweeted the same meme every week,
300, and then it would be more healthy probably. But that's not the way it works. It's not the way you grow a brand either. And the way I think we grow it, now that we've covered the first 4 topics and we're sort of delving into the 5th one, is of course variety and side events. So while I have you guys here, there's still about 12 of you in this chat. Wow. Also, hello Arbiter, Kiarash, good to see you guys. Well, I have you guys here. When we talk about variety and side events, doubles, upcoming low tier, mid tier, other games, right? What is a side event, Coinbox style, Smash Bros, that you'd want to see maybe once a month or try once that you think would be really good?
The community wouldn't.
Wait. Before we get into that, Boxman, I just want to ask. You were talking about stageless earlier. I think in order to make the stageless partially more fair, is it's 8 stages and 2 bands, correct? Essentially, what you can do is make it 3 bands to make it so that you can only pick from 5 stages rather than 6. 6 is a lot.
It is
a lot of tournaments, especially here in SoCal, usually do 3 bands. So I think if you make it 3 bands, that could make it easier to, like, you know, for example, like I don't want to take Sonic to Kalos, FD, and Town and City, right? But I can only ban 2 of those. So if you
he just told us
to ban 3
his
stages,
bans.
I think that
write it down, guys.
Make it a lot more fair and like
it would balance things more, but I don't think it would change that much about it. The top players are gonna win probably against the players that rank below them, usually most of the time. I think what would make a big shift in stages is adding in those crazier ones, right? Adding in the WarioWare, adding in the ones that you wouldn't expect, because then you actually have a real good argument of doing it there. If it were me, it's kind of like I would have like a 20 stage list where if you win game 1, you are at the mercy of being taken to the most insane, crazy stage, and you have to deal with it game 2. But then that's why it's a best of 3. You trade stages, and whoever wins the first game on the agreed one usually ends up winning. I've always liked that. And the top player, a very good talented player, will win regardless of the stage. If you really think about it, the winner of the tournament,
for me, brother,
the best
it is your
player
tournament.
in the room, best player in the building that night, will be the one who can beat you regardless of the stage you go to.
A character like Steve, sorry Chase, but a character like Steve and Sonic are good on almost every stage.
Sure.
So I think just to make it like we're talking about we're talking about the problem that Steve and Sonic are. So essentially, to make it like you could just add that rule and see how it kind of goes. Like see how Sonic plays on Battlefield, see how Sonic plays on Smashville rather than Town and FD. And about the, I think we've already discussed it, but like I think what you can also do is you could essentially, so you know how you do 4 coin boxes every month, yeah? You could do one week is Steve band, another week Sonic band, and 2 vanillas. I think that would be the best format to follow because
why?
Sonic and Steve are able to play in 3 coin boxes respectively. They could just sit one out.
Yeah. So, like I said, the whole once a month approach to getting a character in or out, a lot of people it rubbed them like the wrong way. So we're looking now at seeing what the other solutions is. Where my
can I say something?
Let's do Sonix then Chase. Sonix, go for it.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm with Coney on what he said earlier. I think the core issue here is innovation. Like, of course, people are gonna get tired of seeing the same guy win or the same characters in grand finals every week. Like, it's a weekly event. Like, I think someone in the comments pointed it out, and I think they're right, where they said that if Genesis was hosted every week, there would be no hype to it because it's like, oh well, it's the same tournament. You can see it in weeklies. Like, weeklies don't get that many viewers because it's obviously the same people playing over and over again. The only time they'll ever spike in viewership is if there's an invader coming to said local, or if let's say
narrative.
Exactly, like the narrative changes one way or another. So I think that it's a matter of innovation and like narrative, like you said, and the lack of novelty, because like Wrath mentioned earlier as well, if like right now it's Sonic, but once Sonic, like assuming Sonic does get banned, then it's probably gonna be Corrin and Pikachu Grands every week, or for those tournaments where Sonic and Steve are banned, and then people are probably gonna complain as well, and then they're gonna move on to the next. So it's like, where do you really draw the line? I think the main issue here is novelty.
May I go after Chase, please?
Yeah. Go through Chase, then Arbiter, and then Insidious. If you want to add McDan to the chat too.
Well, you can let Arbiter go first because I wasn't going to speak directly on Sonic's point. So,
I mean, up to you, Arbiter. If you have something to say, go for it then.
Are you sure, Chase? I don't want to. Oh, okay, he muted.
Yeah.
So this kind of like, it's kind of silly, but it kind of goes on to the whole novelty and spectator and competitor aspect of things. And you kind of asked me and curious what we kind of something we'd like to see. It's simple, but I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's items. Like, I'm telling you, items in this game.
That's a good one.
Would be so badass.
Honestly,
dude, wait, hold on.
Honestly,
Sonic,
let him cook.
Okay, so think about it like this. Okay, all right. So we all know Sonix is great. All right, we don't want to take any wins away from Sonix. That's not fair, right? Because Sonix works really hard.
When it comes to the crowd
Sonic is boring to watch. Sure, whatever. But how good is Sonix at dealing with, I don't know, a PAL block? Can this man outrun a blue shell? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm so down.
Yeah,
that is genuinely a good idea.
If someone has a metal box, how good is Sonix? You know what I'm saying? So it goes from.
We're gonna call it the sandbox. It's perfect.
Yeah, see, there we go. Okay.
The game is good.
All right.
The game at the spot.
It does multiple things, right? So I think as a viewer, what makes people fall asleep is all I'm seeing is like PS2 and 2 blue balls spinning. You know what I'm saying? Like that's whack. You know what I'm saying?
Bad comms.
So now,
don't forget about that.
Well,
this conversation is just like that one Libertarian say,
but now you
going
add
nowhere. Don't say that, man.
Right? So now we're on PS2. But why is there a freaking executor on my screen, bro? Like, why does Pikachu have a gun? Why should I wear glasses and have your rap and stuff? You know what I'm saying? So for a viewer, it's hilarious to see. For a caster, it's hilarious to commentate. And I'd imagine if you're really a competitor, I think you want to prove that you're good at items. Items play in the first place.
Different winners, they should once month ban the
Comp Smash. There's a lot of items in the first place. There's like turnips, there's bombs, there's bananas.
Let me get the general consensus that I'm feeling here, just from sentiment alone, is that y'all, and by y'all I mean the viewers, the top players, Sonic's Wrath, casters, everyone here.
Oh man, my shoulder.
Y'all seem to be okay with a once a month kind of more bizarre rule set as long as no one is banned. I think the general ground we're approaching here is that the variety, even the parrot agrees. The variety is it's a really good thing. But
wait.
we need to
At that
remember
point, guys,
Sakurai's vision, right?
I honestly
Everyone
think that
is here. So
most people,
I would rather play
the
Roy
game play
than play
casually,
items.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
So, I mean,
guys.
and you know maybe I jumped the gun too early in doing that, and maybe it's not fair to just single out certain people for playing a certain
I'm out. Take
character
care, bro.
even once a month.
Thanks.
I'm trying to
Flushes.
create something good
Appreciate
for
you
everyone.
stopping
You know
by,
what?
giving
Having
your input.
vanilla twice a month or 3 times a month, there's nothing wrong with that.
issue
Having
he
a
needs
little
to
bit of
watch
something
out for
crazy
is the
once a month,
novelty
doubles,
buff.
low tier,
First you are going to blow
items,
up and
whatever it
then fall
is,
off.
there's
True.
probably nothing wrong with that. So my takeaway so far that I'm getting from this is that I'm not gonna move forward with the banning character. The thing is, I have to remake a decision now on Steve. This is the problem.
Unban him!
Yeah,
unban him!
This is Whoa. Look, we're using the Schrodinger's box rule set. All right, that's where I basically allowed him the first of every month to be legal, and the other ones he was banned, and everyone seemed to be generally okay with that. And I'm afraid of constantly shifting the goal. You know what I mean? But if I truly am not going to touch Sonic, which I don't think I am, honestly, just hearing everyone's sentiment here, we need to be consistent on this. All right? And so the question is, do we unban Steve?
Yes!
Yes.
Yes. It's a bit of a mentality
Can I
shift.
get a non-Steve main to answer to?
I say yes.
Hold on.
I'm raising my hand.
Stop. It's a different question, and I don't want to break something that isn't, or to fix something that isn't broken. Right now, people have enjoyed some brackets not being Steve, some brackets being Steve. People have been okay with that, all right? I don't want to rustle things up too much. I know, obviously, the Steves want to play more. But for instance, for all the variety events, like an items coin box, or a doubles coin box, or something with crazy stages, I would allow Steve at any variety coin box. You understand?
Banning any character should not have been
Yeah,
there.
let me get McDan in here because McDan want to talk. All right, McDan, go for it.
So, for the majority of the scene, we've already been through a phase where we've banned a character and we've seen the result, correct? We've already seen the result of that being, influx of viewership, whether it be a player looking to watch a Steve set or a player watching Sonic set, whatever it might be. And one thing that I feel like this community really hasn't done is explored the options outside of a character ban. So being able to really go beyond that and actually be the one to take action. If there's going to be anyone to, really step outside of, that type of box and try out something, it's one of the larger creators for this game on the platform.
We did it.
And that alone can draw more casual viewers in to really be entertained by, this is more than just the competitive rule set.
More
it
that could be said,
because I feel specific stages for this type of tournament specifically, and then the rest of the weeks are in regular
the tournaments where Steve
stages. So there's a lot of different things I feel like the scene has never really tried yet. And we've always been so hyper-focused on banning the characters that we dislike. Meanwhile, we're not giving the other opportunities the chance, the other options available to us, the chance to really shine.
So what would you do?
You're saying stages.
So, I'm saying stages. Pretty much like...
I'm down.
All of it, Warrior
time!
Have it be a sandbox. Like, have it be... something where there's every ultimate player still completely able to enter, no matter the character they play. But even if we're talking in regards, right, to banning, or not allowing certain characters, there could be a certain pattern, there could be a certain, legacy edition where maybe there's characters from a specific game that are only allowed. Like we see in Ultimate, where they have their own on like tournaments through the online mode where there's like, oh, there's only characters from Melee, or there's only certain things here. Like we could see something like that happen where it's Street Fighter or Tekken characters allowed certain weeks and vice versa, or whatever it might be. So it could vary in so many different ways. The real problem I feel like is starting with one. Because I feel like for as long as the community's had a character problem, we've never really sat down and tried to explore other options.
Right, but sorry about that. Sorry for cutting in. There's a caveat to that though, because experimenting is fine. Like I'm sure we all agree with it, but it comes with a price. Like it comes with the fact that the whole community needs a mentality shift. Because then you need to prepare yourself for a Steve with items. He's overpowered, air quotes, overpowered now.
I agree.
Now you give him items. So
it's just probably other
characters
that I really haven't eaten.
I'm sorry?
There's probably other characters.
Right. We agree, right? Better mobility, better options. We agree. But we have to understand that it comes with a price of us. Community, commentators, TOs need to be ready for those changes. Otherwise, it's for naught, because you're not going to like it. People don't like change.
I'd rather, if we're doing it once a month, I'd rather go full casual than half casual. You know what I mean? Like, if we're gonna allow items, let's allow Hyrule Temple on it while we're at it too. It's just like
Hyrule Temple. Yo, Sonic and Hyrule Temple. They're actually gonna ban Sonic.
Praying each day to the Smash gods, like yes, we'll be faithful. We will abide by the rules that vanilla is the way. And then once a month, we just fucking let loose and we just like do whatever we want.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Like, why not, dude? And no one's banned. Everyone's here. The Sonics can play. The Steves can play. And then everyone's kind of happy, and it keeps things kind of fresh. In the meanwhile, I can introduce a Tekken coin box, a doubles one, a low tiers one, a Smash 4 one. You don't even know what I have cooking for the second half of the year. And we can keep things fresh and interesting without necessarily ostracizing one group of people. But one more time, with all this being said, should I keep the Steve rule set as is?
You should
if we're not singling out players, should we still keep that? There's a little bit of like the pot calling the kettle black here. It seems kind of odd given this hindsight. You know what I mean? Am I crazy for saying that?
There's something I noticed actually. I wanted to mention real quick is that we were having this discussion right now because of as Sonic came up and we're all here organized, giving each our own viewpoint. This didn't happen at all when the Steve ban was first implemented. It was mostly a Twitter dreads and that's where they gave their opinion, but it wasn't an organized conversation where we sat down and we had some data out somebody posted different views. It was mostly internal, but I'm glad. I hope that when it comes for decisions like these going forward, when it comes to potential character bans or some different things, I think that it's really nice that we have these kinds of conversations and different viewpoints in public, so that also the casual viewers can also see the mentality and why people think the way they do behind these choices.
Not disagreeing with you, but we did have that with Let's Make Big Moves, that forum that I believe it was Max. Was it Luminosity?
He ran a form. He did exactly what Paul said.
He ran the Twitter poll. It means everything.
Yeah, but you have to remember.
If you remember, there was two types
of people. Twitter poll.
Did you play the game and did you not play the game? There was a lot to it. There was a lot more to it than the Twitter poll.
Exactly. How familiar you are with the game is very important. But for instance, for Smash 4 Coinbox in April, I still have to make the decision on whether or not Bayo is banned. It's incredibly polarizing, and there's no way for me to make a right call apart from doing what the people want. And we have to make it democratic. There's no right way to do it. But in other cases, Schrodinger's box, when I decided myself
Sonix, I love this game. This game is bad, but I found this community.
That was
not giving
me.
Up on it. Let's go.
Maybe I spoke last a little bit, but that was mainly me thinking on my own what would benefit the most people.
Have the mentality.
What's a good middle ground there?
And that's what I'm saying. People don't even watch the matches, bro.
I did that without getting forms. I just did it because I felt
Chase
as a creator,
was saying I'm not going to watch the Sonic video because all they do is spin from side to side.
Because sometimes
and then I was like, did you watch it?
Yeah. You guys know that, especially
it did not happen at all.
I'm 30 years
you can't just spin
a lot of times
against Sonic.
I was also about to mention one thing about that. I feel like
especially
depending
not against good
on where
Sonics
you
because
get
it will punish
the
you
word
for
is
it.
also very important. because
Yeah, my main problem was Twitter. Twitter was like the main
there is
problem.
genuinely so many people that mostly just view the game, but they don't. They give a input from a viewer perspective, which is super important. But there's also just people that will also side with the more popular side. You know what I mean? So it's yeah.
Chase clearly wants a Sonic ban, of course.
So
unban Steve.
Makes things easier for him.
Unban Steve.
So
Yeah.
here's my side of it. I know you keep saying the everyone is here thing, but Steve wasn't around when everyone was here came out. So Steve does not apply
now.
under the samurai law. All right, guys.
Actually, it's
All
in the
right.
mural.
Look, I've got a lot of insight from the conversations today. I can tell you for a fact that next week will be something really special. You guys know what's next week?
What's next week?
Doubles.
Valentine's Day.
Who was
Think
paying
only.
attention?
don't know what's next
week. Come on.
Not players only. Let's go.
Oh, it's Valentine's
Who's
Day.
paying attention? Come on.
Oh, it's double. Oh, I get it. It's doubles. Hey.
Doubles coin box. That's right.
Also, by the way, me and Jake are winning that one. By the way, just saying.
Oh, y'all.
Are you using a debate to advertise your tournament? You bet your ass I am. The Valentine's Day coin box. February 14th. Sign up should be live either tonight or tomorrow. So make
Single
sure
people are punching the air.
you have your teammate. Also, update me and base
I'm
mates
just
will be
bored.
teaming. Another
Well,
update is that this tournament
just
will
yapping.
end right at midnight Eastern and no later. Because I know
Team
some
with
people have
Angie.
plans or whatever.
I
I,
think she
mean, midnight's
works-
still pretty late, but I want them to not go like
I'm
2
teaming with
a.m.
Wrath.
So we're gonna try to end it as early as possible to make sure that doesn't happen. And we're gonna start at 6 p.m. It's probably gonna be pools and then like a top 16 bracket, and then just run it from there. Nice and easy.
Boxman, I had another idea for a side event.
What's up?
So we've discussed items. I don't think can we do squad? Is squad strike possible online or no?
No.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's not my idea. My idea is check me out. Low key, we could dedicate one coin box. We could dedicate a coin box or two to random ditto or randoms. How about that? How does that sound? Randoms.
We're gonna do a doubles. Just even to have it like Fabrizio, thank you for the bits. Even just to having doubles alone is already a logistical big step for us.
You want Steve on ban?
How else do you prove you have fundamentals though?
By
That's not
I
fundamentals.
guess playing Sonic.
Winning
or
the
Steve.
damn tournament.
Another question
Wow,
on
the
this
shade?
topic.
Did
What
you guys
about
hear
a
that?
mixed rule set on like hazards on and hazards off
What?
as well?
I was just gonna bring this up.
items.
Yes,
Yes.
do it.
Okay, wait.
No.
Kira said, how else do you
No,
prove you
no,
have
no. I think
fundamentals?
that we should
H-Box
have a
said,
hazards on
by
rule set for,
playing
like, a
Steve or
regular
Sonic, I
coin box.
guess.
I think we need to experiment with
What?
like different stage lists, and
That's
part of that is
wild.
going to be experimenting with hazards on. I think Wrath is right.
I feel like
I
it
am
could
bored.
partially
I am
get
very
messy
bored.
because there's going to be so many new players that like half of them really don't even know how to.
They're
make these
doing
rule
their
sets,
best
you know
to
what I
make the
mean?
most of
Like,
mid-gameplay possible.
Here's my
Well,
thing.
not
I mean,
Here's my
well.
thing with the rule set really quick, guys. If we're doing any crazy rule set changes, I'm gonna do it where the original neutrals are all gone.
I think
You understand that, right? No PS2, no FD, no Battlefield, no Smash, no
absence-
Town, no Hollow, no Small. It's gonna be WarioWare is
An
one.
entity
We're gonna have
and
five
everyone to WarioWare.
that
Yeah, and it's just that way.
dictates organizes tournament like the absence
I
of
would
death
definitely
support,
want that.
the lack
Not
of
even a
death support
question.
for this game,
Like, because that's what you
hurts
need.
a lot.
Otherwise, if you have a few extra
things
stages,
like this.
you're just gonna have people banning them every single time, and you're gonna have more more hollow, more town, I guess. But like, you want some real visceral frickin' change.
This is why I wish
That's what you do. If you
Can you
want
guys hear
I
me?
wish StartGG would allow you to make these like unique stage lists because like there was so little to choose from when I started Big Brain Bracket. Like I couldn't like there
Can you guys
wasn't
hear me?
really a way to
Okay,
make
okay.
things like super
sucks.
unique like how I originally planned out. So I was like, all right, I got to go with something.
It's crazy how
more
you're a victim of your
related,
own success.
related to like
It's
what the scene is
crazy
used to.
because
And that's like damn.
the
That's
VC's
like
too
really.
loud. Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you. I really.
I was gonna
think
say.
we need to have just a regular coin box with these counter pick offs.
I think it's whack because it's like I was gonna make a meme about it, like a joke. It's like, damn, when you get good at the game, because it's like, yeah, there's two Sonics, but we literally work together with each other. Like I help, like it's only fair or not fair. It's only reasonable
I'd like to ask for Steve.
That happens.
I agree. Unban Steve.
agree.
Get rid of Sonic.
Um,
No problem.
Only in stats.
Because
turn into unbanning. Like, it's incredible.
I literally like I beat people.
I've been telling people forever.
Ras asks me, "How do I beat these people?" And then I'm like, "Oh, this is what I did. This is what I did when I beat them." And then he does it too. And then of course he wins. Like,
The issue is the game and the community.
Steve is like.
I don't see a reason to getting rid of any
Persona,
singular
is there a problem?
character if we
I think that was
explored
Jake.
other options enough.
We've already gotten rid of Steve. Guys. Let me remind you, Steve is banned right now 3 times a month, and no one really. Well, right now you guys are talking about it, but
So stupid.
Y'all were
It's so
cool
stupid.
with that block forever. You understand? Y'all were cool with it. There was no. There was no.
I never necessarily agreed. I just kind of watched it
It
happen.
was cool.
Sonic,
Yeah, it kind of
I wanna
just
hear
happened.
Sonic's your take on Steve being banned 3 times a month and everyone being cool with it currently, as far as I can tell. What's your take on that?
I've always been an advocate of keeping Steve legal. So yeah, that's my take on it. I mean, obviously with PMLG being banned, and I do think it's very hard to control, but it's like Coinbox is a lot of people's main way of practicing, and I think that for practicing in preparation for big tournaments and events, and I think that if they can't get that Steve practice and then travel to a tournament, and then Steve is legal at that tournament and they play, I don't know, freaking a cola or something, then they're gonna get steamrolled. So that's my take on it. However, I can also see the sides for like why people would keep him banned. But I think ultimately, like, if it's a viewership thing similar to the Sonic ban, I think that I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of things that influence metrics, like, and viewership. I think it's a hard call. Obviously, in the case of Steve, I think he has been legal enough for you to have a big enough sample size to compare and say, oh, well, whenever Steve's in Grands, viewership is gonna drop significantly, or whenever Steve's on screen, whatever. So ultimately it is up to you because it's your tournament. And I mean, this goes for like every rule set. I'm down for items only. Like, honestly, I'm not trying to say I'm backtracking, because I came into this debate with no hope at all whatsoever, but I did want to give my input regardless. But I think that at the end of the day, like, things are still going to be different. So it's definitely up to you. However, for me personally, I think Steve should just be unbanned.
Please.
You know what? Hold on. I'm serious about
I
this.
love you.
I'm gonna go one at a time. I'm gonna go one at a
far.
time for the non-Steve players in here, and there's only a few. But let me just see really quick. Wrath, Steve, ban or unban? If you had to pick right now, and you can be as selfish as you want. What would you do? Don't worry about
I would say unbanned.
Well, doesn't Sonic beat Steve?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's Sonic.
Loogie.
Yes.
For some reason,
Yes, I love you.
Loogie is in here from Europe. This doesn't affect you at all, but I want to hear, if I ran EU Coinbox, Steve, ban or unban?
Unban.
It's a miracle! Oh my god!
Okay, this is like
Arbiter.
already biased.
Arbiter.
Did he die?
Dude, there's no way Arbiter's gonna say no on Black History Month.
Fuck Steve, bro.
Whoa!
Honestly, yeah, I'm standing on it. That's his own business. Fuck
What the
Steve. Yes, on Black History Month.
We like honesty. We like honesty.
Keep it a buck.
No.
Yeah, exactly. He's on. Okay. Do you want my opinion? Actually, my opinion doesn't matter. Screw it. Kirash, what do you think?
Unbanned.
Goodness.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Hbox, you should give your opinion.
Steve, yay!
To pass
My
on the
opinion, but I'm like fringe top 300. Does that really matter?
It doesn't matter. Give us your opinion.
No.
Yeah,
This is your series.
It's your event, man.
It's your event.
You've got casters in here giving their opinions. They're not top 300.
That is very
That's
true.
true. What do you think, boss
What are the
man? Should
views?
Steve be banned or unbanned?
There is no Coinbox without viewers, but there's definitely no Coinbox without the players. And keeping both audiences happy is my concern. I'm like trying to be a good dad to everyone in a sense. I think what I'm gonna do is continue running Schrodinger's box through March, So we're gonna do next Steve Unbanned is gonna be March 6th.
People are saying unbanned.
In April, I'm going to officially revisit the rule set, and that is what I think I'm gonna do for the sake of everyone. And
Was it just a discussion or is it just like internal?
huh?
Like when you say you're like gonna revisit it, is it like will you like talk with your like chat, or will you like talk in like big Twitter like calls, or like how would you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be getting everyone's opinions for quarter 2, and whatever it is for March, for April, May, and June. But I'm gonna see what the vibes are. I hate to use that word. God, we're gonna see what the vibes are during that time. And you know, if the meta is saying that we really need to have Steve unbanned even online officially for everyone, we can do that. If that is what's going to make things more fair and more concise for everyone, we can do that. And I think, along with having that unban for vanilla, having
He hates saying vibes. That's
2
funny.
vanilla coin boxes a month, maybe 3. We're also going to have the start of each month coin box to be that variety event. The new stages, the items on, something crazy, right? I think to me that's what's gonna make the most people the happiest.
It is his,
keep
yeah.
things
Yo, what's up,
fresh
Kitty?
Alongside the new releases of the game. So that's currently where I'm leaning, and as a compromise for everyone. That's my take.
I think that's smart. I think that's smart. Also, I'm a Corin player. Unban Steve.
Where's Spargo? I need Spargo in here.
We do need Spargo in here. You're right.
I don't think you should ask him that question. Actually,
He is pro Steve. I will ask him
I
this
don't think
question
I
at
don't think you
Terra.
should ask him that question, man.
'Cause to be fair, Steve mostly gets in the way of the mid-level players, right? Like the people dying within the bracket rather than the top cut.
That's fair. That's actually correct. I don't disagree with that. I don't refute
So
that.
if you're taking into consideration what the majority, like top players don't care. Like I mean, we got Gluto saying like, I don't care. If you remember the iconic, I don't care, from Gluto. It's the same for top players. Like they adapt. They're good. They've got like the game sense, I guess, the best
I'm
game
gonna be
sense.
honest here about this. I am of the
But the
boat
plebs
that
die.
most Steve mains are actually not that good because PMLG is one of the most busted pieces of shit tech ever, and they claim
think
it's
I
not
know how
good.
to do that,
they
man?
claim it's
No.
bad.
Okay. You think
That-
you know how to do that?
They're not good for a reason.
It's
Call it an accident.
If you open the can of worms, dude.
But
I
it's so
will
hard,
say
man.
I feel like I overreacted to PMLG, and I think a lot of people can agree. Raise your hand and press 1 if you thought so
I mean,
too.
it's not just you.
I
Fucking
thought it would
everybody
break the
did.
world.
This whole community.
Nah, hold on. PMLG
It
is
was a
broken.
massive, just like community issue.
Why people buffed Steve 5 times in a week? I'm like, what the
fuck you,
like,
Whitey.
I got angry. I'm like, what can we do now? It got scary, man. I
Okay,
wanted to
but
get out the pick, bro. It's too late.
one thing, how often do you see those in actual bracket? Like PMLG, like do you see people ever do it?
It's
Once
mostly
you-
like
if it happens, it's usually accidental.
No, okay, so that's
So if it happens, it's just accidental.
It's not accidental, Josh.
so
Respectfully,
insane.
it's just really hard, man. It's just so hard, you know.
Yes, thank you, Didi.
Yeah, I would trust Didi on the Steve info, man.
Yes, I
do,
literally outplaced you yesterday. Can you be nice?
I do have one thing I think everybody here can
Nice.
agree
I
on,
said
though.
thank
Wait.
I have one thing I think everybody can agree on, right? Whether Steve stays banned or unbanned, I don't care. Like Arbiter said earlier, Steve's funny, right? I think Steve's hilarious. As a caster, I love watching him. However, I think the main issue, the one character we really need to get rid of, is not Sonic. It's not Steve.
It's Refit Trainer. It's Refit Trainer.
No, it's Min Min. Get rid of that character. Holy
thanks
shit.
for joining us. I'm gonna
No. See, that's the thing, bro. People don't like this game.
What have I done to you? Who
hurt you?
People don't like this game. Like, I think this is the only community, this is the only fighting game community where people will just advocate for a character ban
I think we've covered
instantly.
topics. The last one I did write down for the sake of posterity was the melee comparison. I know for a lot of you guys, it probably doesn't. You probably can't dive in
Like,
too much in it, but it's something that I wanted to say personally to everyone. And the idea was the fact that many people pointed out that I was the Sonix of melee for a very long time.
Yeah, and you were the goat.
Thank you, Didi. I was the Sonix of melee for a long time. Whenever I would win, viewership went down every single time. I won very often, and I did so in a manner that was less interactive than many other of the top people. When people point that out and they say, isn't it hypocritical of you to want to raise the viewership for your event by potentially banning a character once a month? My answer is this. In Melee, if there had been more than one puff doing what I was doing, be it, whatever player you want to name back there, if there had been multiple puffs doing this, it would definitely prove it's not an HBox problem, it's a character problem. And I would have actually agreed back then. But one of the biggest points of my defense, and I was stubborn as fuck on this for years, was no one was doing it like I could back then. I had an edge on the matchup or an edge on the game that no one else had. And of course, I pushed it to its full advantage. One of the reasons I'm sitting in front of you guys today with 2,000 viewers and a great tournament series with a 3K prize pool because I was able to raise, I don't know, like maybe my brand or whatever HBox stood for back then because of that advantage that I had, and I took it and I ran with it as far as I could. If anyone else was able to do it, it wouldn't have worked as well. So when you compare this right now to Ultimate, there is a plurality of Sonix. There is not just Sonix, there's also Wrath. And who knows, other Sonix in the future might creep into top 8 too. That, to me, is when you realize it's not just one person being too good, it's one character, at least online in our North American Wi-Fi tournament, having the issue. And that's why I wanted to have this discussion in the first place, and I just wanted to say that in regards to Melee. And by the way, we did do something in Melee about it. We added a ledge grab limit that we can track.
That was not only for
made the game more interactive, and it worked. And I fully stand by it every single time. So if there was a ledge grab limit equivalent in Ultimate Online with Sonic, like a spin dash summit and SDL, obviously I would advocate for it, but there simply is no way. There's no way to do that. There's no way to advocate how the amount of time you are as Fear on the screen or the amount of time you get to spend in the air. It wouldn't work. So if any of you guys have a suggestion on how to do a comparable thing here, instead of having variety, is there any simple fix that you think we could add to Sonic and or Steve to not handicap them, but to fix the issue of what the character stands for?
Pyro tempo only.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I got one on Steve as well. Didi, but you go first.
Wait, one at a time. Let me start with
Didi.
Didi, go first.
I think you should just get good. Actually, well, no, I lied. Someone else go.
I got a real one on Steve. Sorry. Steve, usually how it works.
You can't.
Go from one side of the stage to the other. You stay there. You stay mining.
That is so. Yeah, that's a bad argument.
Find an opening or force an opening, and Steve is safe or feels relatively safe, right? Whether it's the corner, wherever behind the wall, whatever it is. He has no limit to mining, right? So he can stay mining for 30 minutes and still get material. So maybe what I think is, what if you, as soon as the bar is full, then you're not. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of like
how are you going to know when it's full?
Yeah, that's just
because as soon as okay, so you're empty.
You need to be practical. It has to be simple, translatable.
Yeah, it's simple.
That is not simple.
The bar is empty.
That is not simple.
He doesn't play Steve. This man does not play Steve.
Of course
he
does.
So you don't know what you're talking about.
Do you mean like
the image, the
like
bar fills up?
Can y'all let him finish? Holy crap.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Sure.
The bar, it's like limit, right? Or stand. You know when the bar is full and when it's empty.
They're not.
But what if it's full and you have like 2 ion?
It doesn't matter. It's tough luck.
What?
I mean, that's why counter picks. That's why counter picks and stage selections matter.
It's not a counter pick.
Steve isn't winning coin box. That's the point of this conversation.
Can we unban Steve already, man? I'm tired of having this pointless conversations that lead to.
This motherfucker went straight to the point, bro. He's standing on business.
What's the appropriate response to Sonic? If we're not, like, say there was a hypothetical where we add a new rule that's very subtle that balances things. Is there anything in the game similar, akin to a ledge grab limit?
Okay, I don't.
Dude, there's 80 characters in this game. There's no balancing this game. It's fucked.
Some people are saying things like Sonic auto loses timeout. I don't agree with it, but I think.
Oh.
That's just. I mean. What?
Wait a minute, young blood. Wait a minute, young blood.
That'd be a horrible idea.
You might be cooking though.
I can't wait to auto win against the Sonic players by camping the shit out of them.
Yeah. If he beats me up, I'm running away the whole game. If he
Yeah, like that.
Literally,
That just makes Sonic bad.
It wouldn't work, but
Theoretically,
I'd love to see it. I mean,
what is stopping
Sonix,
me?
what do you think about that?
If I was playing against Sonix, right? Let's say I go fucking Sora, and we go to. I'm timing him out under the stage. Oh, better example. I'm playing Shiny Mark. Shiny Mark.
Shiny Mark actually times out people more than
Shiny Mark, man.
Shiny Mark is quick attacking under the stage. You can't interact with him on the ledge or off stage because it's Pikachu P-tilting, and I just automatically lose because he's doing all this shit.
That's tough luck, man.
It's
tough
like
luck, though, bro.
that
luck.
rule actually actively does not work.
Maybe you shouldn't play Sonic, man.
That's what I'm
Bruh,
saying.
you're playing Nah, listen. Hey, let's keep it civil. Let's keep a civil conversation. I was gonna say, respond to your point about you being the only player doing it in Melee. I think that obviously there's some merit to that, but I wanted to ask, were there other because you may say like it's very easy to see, oh, Wrath is also in Grands, or damn, Sonic must be really good. Like I feel like the conversation is always directed towards, oh, Sonic is good, but it's never towards, damn, maybe, just maybe, Sonix and Wrath are working together. Maybe they're, because like here's the thing, it's easy to have another top character representative if, let's say, like I'm already a top 3 player, right? Like I was ranked number 3 at the last Lumi rank, and then I beat people. Wrath plays, and I obviously I study those people, I make notes on them, I practice a lot of things, and then Wrath also enters a bracket, and then he's like, yo, I got this guy that you beat 2 days ago. Do you have notes on him? What should I do? And then I tell him, oh, you should do this and that. And then he proceeds to be the same player. Like, I don't think it's not necessarily a.
I get what you're saying, Sonix. But remember, you're ranked 3. Wrath is ranked 82.
Well, he also didn't go to stuff.
Oh, he's still pretty good.
Online, it's showing a much higher advantage for Sonic players online, which it's understandable. It's understandable. I mean, no one's gonna disagree that Sonic has a little edge on that.
I don't think that's necessarily true, considering
Sonic's be winning shit anyway.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean,
I said I don't think that's necessarily true at the Coinbox IRL. I 3-0'd the Buzz and got 5th at that event as well. And that was awesome.
You've been cooking up a lot more too, and I think if you have a great year too, I can't say anything anymore, obviously, but it does beg the question, if we're talking about the Melee comparison, again, there are 2 of you. There isn't one person who knows things other ones don't. I think it's Sonic's advantages are finally being used by more than one person. There's also Ken in Japan, and you know, it's more than one person in the entire world. In Melee, it literally was just me being the Puff.
But
just me.
But did you help other Puff players?
Games we're talking about.
What's up?
Yeah.
Did you help other Puff players get good at the game?
I maintain my own strategies for a good time in order to have the edge. And that's
Well,
very important for me.
exactly. That's literally.
I can see that being the case as to why there's more than one, but at the same time, it happens to be the character that people also find uninteractive. You know, the reason like the viewership falls or whatever. It's like the perfect storm in a way. So, yeah, it is a big question mark. Obviously, that's why we're all here talking about it.
And I think that's fair, but I think that because here's the thing, right? Like, because people will make these comparisons of, oh, well, Steve is the same thing. Like, there's also multiple top level Steves, but the thing about Steve is very centralizing, even at lower levels. Like at low level, mid level, literally every level possible. Sonic, you can say he's quite well represented, but it's really at the top level. Like, yeah, you do have Wrath, you have myself, you have Ken. But that's 3 top level threats, not just for Sonic, but just in general, like 3 top 20 players. So
yeah, I get that too, but my counterpoint to that would be actually Melee Fox, which dominates the low, the mid, the high, and the top. There's always Fox. In fact, there's way more Fox than there is Steve everywhere that. And you might ask, well, yeah, where's all the noise and all the complaint about Fox? And the reason no one complains about that many Foxes is
It's super subjective.
it's gonna sound cliche, but he is cool. He is actually the perfect top tier. He's a glass cannon that fucks everyone up when you play perfect, and the moment you make a mistake, you get counterplayed more than anyone because Fox is the most counterplayed of any character in the entire game. It's been studied like a religious text. And because of that, you'll notice everyone is pretty chill with Fox being 1/4 of the results. When you get a character like Steve or Sonic, it's a bigger problem because they're not glass cannons. You know they're not. They are very just not only top tier characters, they require extremely specific counterplay.
Counter argument, Mr. Game and Watch.
And Ultimate?
In Ultimate.
What about
Mr. Game and Watch is like, as I said with that quote earlier, of the 40 majors in 2023, only 3 did not have a Sonic Steve or Mr. Game and Watch. Game and Watch is right up there. He's a glass cannon. And
Melee homie says he's gaslighting. Let me get
Game and
beats.
Watch is a glass cannon?
Yeah, dude, Game and Watch is really.
I mean, yeah, Game Watch is kind of.
I'll have to disagree.
Game Watch is a glass cannon.
Dog is not a glass cannon. He is not a rushdown character. He is just
light
light.
does not mean you're a
That is it.
Yes, he's so light. You don't get it.
I would
Yeah,
make
man.
this argument that Game & Watch is a glass cannon, but not in the same way that Fox is in Ultimate.
Yeah.
Dog is just light.
I mean, I think Game Watch is
as well.
Sonic is also a glass cannon. He's light.
Well, Game Watch has a frame.
Okay, but
A glass cannon.
Okay,
They are not.
but let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, HBox. Would you say that things have shifted since the game's release? Because I mean, it has been significantly longer since Melee's release. Like Melee has been around for much longer than Ultimate, and so there has been a lot more counterplay developed.
Are you talking about since the pandemic? Since Melee's what? I mean, any game that releases is gonna have things. What time frame are you referring to?
I guess in different, because I mean, I don't know how you guys would divide the eras. I guess in Five Gods era, let's say.
Sure, Five Gods.
And then this era, and like it maybe a little bit before the Five Gods era. Like, would you say that things had like opinions have shifted between characters, and because maybe there's been more counterplay developed, maybe some characters have fallen off.
And the biggest change was Puff, I would say, so far from that era of there. I mean, it's by and far the biggest change. We had one character winning half the majors, and now I didn't even win a single major last year. I won Smash Factor. And it's not to say, sure, maybe a lot of other players stepped up, but you can't ignore the character selection. You can't ignore the fact that the current top 4 in Melee are Cody, Fox, Zane, Marth, Jmook, Sheik, Moki, Fox, Plup, Fox, Sheik, and then 6th being Amsa, Yoshi, B being Puff, Fako 8th. There's a diversity too, but it's a much more healthy diversity where you can't really expect what's going to happen because there's a square of parity among those people. And to answer your question, yes, the game's longevity, Slippy being introduced was the biggest thing imaginable. I want, and my goal, it's a dream, right, is for Coinbox and Matchbox to serve the same role that to Ultimate that Slippy did to Melee, where everyone figures out matchups, everyone understands how to do things, and maybe people figure out the Sonix and Steve problem themselves just by grinding more often. Half the people in here were saying just get good, there's no reason to ban characters, and low-key, there is some merit to that, right? But we didn't notice people getting good, instead we noticed another Sonic player being Wrath step up and start placing more. So it's like the opposite happened. I think that's why people got, they started giving up the concept of getting good, and they started thinking to themselves, is Sonic even beatable online if your name is not Spargo? So if the answer is get as good as Spargo, then, I mean, it might be what it is, but that's a big pill for a lot of people to swallow. Does that make sense, Sonic?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, I can see why, but then again, it also, I guess it's just really hard to measure. Like, you can't really measure how much exactly. You can't measure like, okay, this character is good because of that, or like, is this character good, or am I just getting outplayed? Especially since I think, and this is where when I go back to just say like, oh, people's like top players' opinions heavily influence what people think. Because if I am somebody that studies the matchup a lot, like let's say I think I can confidently say, and I have the results to back it up, that I'm one of the best players against Steve. And if I, as one of the best players against Steve, were to say, damn, like let's say I lose to a Cole or something, and I say, damn, fuck Steve, ban Steve, you cannot beat this character, then everybody that looked up to my opinion of, oh, Steve should not be banned because you can beat Steve, because I would beat Steve, then they would all say the same thing of like, damn, you're right, you know what, Sonix is right, we should ban Steve, or Steve is bannable. And then it would generate a discussion and an argument.
Question for you, Sonic. Question.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do it without Sonic?
I think I could. Yeah. I know.
You could beat all the Steves without Sonic.
Without Sonic? I would probably.
If it's a question of fundies and being a better player, do you think? Because you're saying that obviously because you're the best Sonic there is, and you're one of the best players in the world.
Mhm.
Could you do it without Sonic?
Against Steve or just in general?
Let's say against Steve.
Against Steve, yeah, I think I could. I would go Roy or DK.
DK.
Yeah.
Sonix is over for you, buddy. I'm
gonna tell you this right here, just really quick. If you manage to win a coin box with DK, solo DK,
Solo DK.
I think I will pay out of my pocket and give you an extra $500 out of my pocket, whatever you win. Just I will
Dude.
put my word on there if you're able
Does
to
that apply to everyone? Like, is it only him?
Solo DK winning a coin box?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it. Yes, it applies.
You're gonna pay.
Okay.
No questions asked. Do you know how? Okay. Do you know how insane that would be? And this is what I mean. And you know what? My favorite thing is getting actually shut the fuck up. And when someone shuts me up, that is hype as hell. And I want to see it happen. Sonix, you don't know how much I want to see the argument of you silence everyone and do it with a character that isn't Sonic, like, or Steve. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That is a narrative.
Okay, so like,
that's such a narrative.
so like, if anyone else didn't do
he'll
the
add
secondary, they have
500
money too, right?
Okay, Hexerac just said he'll add a 500 himself. $1,000 bounty to the first solo DK to win a coin box. Can you believe that?
Damn.
On top of the 1,200. That's insane.
Chunky Kong.
Why?
I'll add 300 on that. I'll add 300 on that.
lab, bro.
He's locked, bro. He's actually locked in.
Oh my god.
You should drop 50 right now. Just
Wait. I wanted to add something. Now that you mentioned that you would add $500, I was actually thinking of an idea, and obviously, like, I don't know how profitable this is, but if you were to add a bounty to, like, let's say me, or I don't know, Spargo's winning a lot, I think that could also make things interesting, and people would tune in to watch that, just because it would.
Wait, to add on to that, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think that would be a great idea, Boxman. If you had a bounty on someone like Shiny Mark, Spargo, or Sonix, someone who is consistently winning these coin boxes, if you are to put, like, say $50 to beat this guy in a set, if you can do that, I think that will also motivate a lot of people to get their ass and grind this game out, figure out the Sonic or Steve matchup, and stop complaining. I think
Does that apply to everyone? Like, if I beat Shiny Mark, do I still get it?
Sure.
Better get that
Yeah,
fucking
if you can do
$50,
that,
man.
you are gonna do what you can to study the matchup and practice on Wi-Fi, get used to the delay, and then just win. The bounty is your motivation.
I like the bounty idea.
All right. Okay. So you know what? I think this conversation has been incredibly productive. We've decided and determined that banning Sonic isn't the right thing. That potentially unbanning Steve is the right thing. We're gonna revisit it in April. We like the idea of just, hold on, chill. We're gonna add the idea of variety once a month, and we're gonna add the idea of vanilla at least twice a month. And then I think everyone wins, and we add some crazy bounties. And you know what? Maybe everyone really truly does win. And I'll open donations each Wednesday to add to the bounty pool.
Thank you, Box.
The bounty box. Same way I did the Cody Squad. Yeah. Wow.
Yes. Thank you, Boxman.
Good job, team. Good job, team. This has been great.
So
Also, one thing I wanted to, like, comment about real quick, HBox, I really like that you showed that chart of, like, the viewer time of the viewership over time, like, of the stream, when this set started, when that set started. I think, like, if we want to go forward with, like, experimenting with this, like, variety, or even, like, changing the vanilla rule set a little bit, if we could, like, see, like, how, like, it affects the viewership, and if we could, like you said, like, this, like, this had started with, like, Sonic or Steve or this other character, or just getting, like, an idea of the viewership in general. I think that would be really good for just, like, keeping track of viewership and interactions, as
Of
well
course.
as because it's so, like, rare to, like, see that. Even, like, some majors never post, like, how many, like, views they get, or, like, their peak views, unless you're, like,
I'm
on the stream.
gonna also throw it back to the engineering degree here and remind everyone of the scientific method, and that is when you're trying to experiment something, you can only change one variable. So it'll be strange to change both which characters are banned and have stages and have items on. We're not gonna know which one actually changed it. The one variable will be, do we add bullshit or not, right? Then we can test it out there. There's only so many weeks in a year to test it out. And then sometimes MK Leo will enter a tournament and the viewership will go to 5,000 because he's doing well, regardless of who's in the finals. You know, I wish it was that simple, but we have to first of all
Matchbox literally put you on the spot.
in order to test our hypothesis.
I said DK. He was referring to Steve, bro.
Someone had the bright idea of turning it into a League of Legends rule set where you don't only ban a stage, you ban a character per se after a loss.
That's interesting.
And that to me would be so freaking cool. But it would be, yeah, I don't know.
I'd recommend only doing this bounty on a month where you're not going to a big tournament for obvious reasons.
I'm going -1 and 5.
True.
Maybe
that was a bad idea. No, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Like people.
League of Legends like ban style would actually go.
I'll elaborate after this.
I think it would be fun every now and then, but like realistically, in a game like Smash, like too many people pride themselves on being like a solo main or being like.
I mean, I don't know if the bounty would be with a different character.
Kind of hard in a game like this. League is
I did win with Crom. You're right.
More with this game. Like there's too many things to enjoy about it besides just one character. You know, I think people need the experience.
Some people have fun only playing one character. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, I feel that.
Let me really quick, guys. Let me ask Sor because he just got here. I know you probably missed most of the initial debate, but the one main question I was having.
I wish someone would bring up how solo mains are obviously going to be a lot better with the solo main versus other characters. Like, are people really going to say Lattice Carry for only playing Fox?
Once a month.
Literally.
Variety once a month. Do you think, if we're not going to touch Sonic, do you think Steve should be unbanned fully? And I know you're a Steve main, but I really want you to take into consideration everything that you've heard ever and what your honest take is. There's no wrong answer.
I mean, like, just to say it straight up, like, I don't think Steve should be banned, realistically. Sure, he has, like, large population in the, like, top cut of Coinbox and other types of brackets, like, even offline, but if anything, Coinbox should be, like, a training place for players to get ready for majors. And if you're not able to practice against Steve online, then, like, what's the point? You're just going to go to a major, you're going to hit a Steve to qualify out of pools, you're going to lose because you don't know the matchup, and then it is what it is. And I'm saying that, like, even myself, like, I suck versus Steve because I don't play Wi-Fi, so, like, I got cooked by Syrup at Big House, you know, like, shit happens. But saying that as someone who plays multiple characters, like, I literally main, like, 3-4 characters. I can advocate for the Sonix as well, you know, I see it from Kels being my sister and everything like that, right? So to me, it's like, I don't know, it feels kind of pointless to ban characters. We're kind of just delaying the inevitable. If players are going to complain that, like, it's boring and it's not fun, then it's not the right game for them, because frankly that's just the spot and the meta that the game is in right now. But that just comes down to each player what they value. If they want to keep playing and play the character that they enjoy, adapt to the meta, or whatever, you know.
Okay. Thank you for
saying that. I could have said any better myself, honestly.
Harry, Steve, agreeing with each other.
This was an offline environment, sure, but because this is an
oh man, just stop.
That's when everything gets so much harder to, you know.
Sonic shouldn't have to prove he's in carry. Yeah, like I've already shut people up.
Can we just stop differentiating the two? It's.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
I'm not gonna go deeper. I'm gonna say one last thing.
Like, I feel like
I'm gonna say one last thing and then I'm gonna dip.
Very similar, if you really.
They are similar. Even Sonic are the best characters in both. All right.
Yeah,
exactly. There's certain matchups that are
you have weird oddballs like Wii Fit and like Zelda.
The Luigi
that are
play, yes, Wi-Fi and offline are different. We'll give them that. We'll give them that.
What are you, my friend? What are you talking about? Like, you think 5 frames of delay from East Coast to West Coast is the same as playing in person?
Yeah.
I'm gonna suffer. We all do.
I mean,
some people suffer less. That's the thing, though.
Yeah, because most of their characters are ended up being.
I'm on your side. I'm on your side, Kiriash. Like, some people just suffer differently, you know. Like, if I'm playing Sonic and I'm suffering, I don't give a fuck. If I'm playing Luigi, shit, that's get used to it. It's not the right game for you then.
I grieve different, you know. It's
exactly.
The way you.
Which brings me to another idea, Boxman. You should dedicate one tournament, whether it's vanilla, and instead of vanilla, make it modded. You have to have the delay mod to participate. Could that work out or not?
I gave you guys that.
Oh wait, we discussed that?
Wait, can I?
Oh, we did?
Can I get like a? Can I get a point real quick?
Sure.
I don't know if we've mentioned, like, cause I missed like half the stream. I was busy doing some stuff, but. I don't know if we've mentioned, like, cause I missed like half the stream. I was busy doing some stuff, but. I don't know if we've mentioned, like, cause I missed like half the stream. I was busy doing some stuff, but. I missed like half the stream. I was busy doing some stuff, but. Have we mentioned any sort of like stage list adjustments
We have.
made?
Yeah, we have.
We've
And
discussed it a
my,
lot.
my take
3
was
events.
good idea once a month, but I say throw out all the current neutrals once a month and only put the weirder stages. Like replace Battlefield with WarioWare, replace Town with what was it? I don't
Like
know.
Yoshi's story?
Yeah, Yoshi's story. Like I said, only new stages, none of the old neutrals, and fuck no PS2 for once a month, like that. And
Yeah, I mean
that
we have small Battlefield.
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah,
I
but
don't
no,
really think it's
even
How many
even
people
drop
know
all
that
Battlefield.
PS2 is the
Like
biggest
literally only have 5 weird stages or 10 weird stages be the stages for that day, and just see how people adapt, and it would be really interesting. I think.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I made a thread about it on Twitter. Like, I think stage list changes can be made regularly. Like, I mean, in Brawl, like the remedy to Meta Knight was just like banning the stages he's broken on. You know what I mean?
But can I be transparent with you guys? The reason we don't do that very often, we want to do it for the past 2 years. It actually isn't us. It's actually Start DG, and I mean this with full respect.
Oh,
For
that's what
some,
I've been saying so
no,
bad.
I want to say it. For some,
We just want to be
reason,
casuals and get paid for
the
it.
stages that are allowed in a bracket system on Start
Talking about
DG
who's suffering the
is
most.
incredibly like.
Didn't you win a Wi-Fi
compulsory,
tournament with
like
Bayo? Well, back. I got top 8, but I got top
like
3.
heads up
Let me
ahead
look
of
that up,
time really
actually.
should just be change the text on these stages. And I don't see why it's so crazy. So I wish if there was a way to streamline how stages are selected for brackets in strategy on Smash tournaments, we could experiment with that every single week, no problem. It's just so difficult. I can have last even hop in and talk about this. It's so difficult.
I've been asking them for years.
Do you
Literally
think
been
it might-
asking their support for years to add an ability to make your own custom stage list, and they just have not done it.
How many people you think we can get on board for that?
Actually, I have a
Have them all
question.
apply like a question.
I have a question. How possible would it be to like try to like make a system in Matchbox where you could do something like the like run a bracket in Matchbox?
It's a ladder, so it has to be uniform rules for everyone.
No, I understand that, but I meant like when in terms of like running Coinbox, would it be possible to like run a bracket through like Matchbox at any point, so that you can have those rule sets without any?
Like mini brackets? Yeah, that would be. I mean, it would be fun.
Yeah, I literally got 3rd
Like single, you know what would be fun?
at a juice box.
Brackets. Just for fun, not on stream, just like to have them. It would be cool, but it would take a lot of know-how. But I think for the time being, just having it be a system to grind and a system for you to use delay mod or not, or choose best of 3 or not, best of 5 or not. It's a great way to use it. I see everyone using it every single day, so it's really.
What's your review about Lego Marvel Superheroes 2? So I'll be honest, I actually haven't gotten to play it yet because I downloaded it.
Exactly the intent
like
for it. So
I got it last week, but I'm only gonna play with my brother, and we haven't played yet.
What was that?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
But
we talked a bit about.
I saw the
people say,
reviews,
banning a character is sort of delaying the inevitable.
and they
People
looked
just don't like
very. They looked
Do we
good.
think
The game looks promising. I like
Sonic
Lego
and
games.
Steve is sort of the end game of Smash Ultimate, or is there another phase we're gonna hit later on?
Oh boy. You want my opinion? We can all go on this too.
Broad answer, I feel like.
I think they are the 2 best characters. I do think that they are the end game unless
When are we playing, bro? I hate this shit.
new tech is discovered. If everything stays as is,
Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga,
there's always gonna be
goated.
best players. It's gonna be Aqualas, Mias, and Tweaks, and Spargos, and Sonixes, you know, and Lights and Leos. But they're the 2 best characters by far. I think they're in their own tier now, almost even.
I've actually thought a lot about this. Because like it's kind of a weird spot. Because yeah, like Undisputed, I think they are top 2 at the moment. But realistically, and like I've thought this since the game released, like there are close to 90 characters in the game, if not more, right? I don't know the exact number, but
87.
Yeah, like this isn't like previous Smash games where the best character is just undisputed, beating every character in the game. Like Steve has a handful of losing matchup, Sonic has a handful of losing matchups.
But they're all within that square of parity. Remember that? They're all within the Steve, Sonic, Game & Watch, Rob, Aegis, like, and kind
Not
of little.
exactly though. Like there's weird ones like for Sonic specifically. Like I mean Sonic's or Wrath can explain more, but I'm pretty sure there's like some weird ones. You know, like Roy's kind of weird, Palu, Fox. Like there's like some weird like high tiers that can just mess him up if like the player knows the matchup correctly, right? And so Steve is on the same side. Like we all know, obviously Sephiroth does well into him. There's like random sorties like Lucina that can do well into him, right?
What Sephiroth has Aqua lost to?
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Aqua,
You
He might have lost
I'm
one on
saying
an online.
a bad matchup means the best player of that character.
Look at Fortnite. It looks good.
That's what my definition of that matchup is. If you want my take, like
I mean, has he fought Sephiroths that isn't Tweak? Because Tweak doesn't have a matchup.
But
Yo, Nelly Belly.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Thank you.
We just need more data.
20 more
on
stream,
who's
baby.
playing against
Tequila
Sephiroths
Rose.
on an equal level, you know what I mean?
I guess so.
The only Sephiroths he's fighting are ones that are worse than him. So at that point, they're getting skill gaps, not character gaps, right?
Yeah, and he destroyed Ned, from what I understand too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every character is gonna have some matchups that aren't as great or whatnot, but I will say the Ultimate community especially is guilty of like they will throw phrases like -3 or -2 like way too often.
Yeah.
Just off one bad night of friendlies. I'm just like, what am I reading here? What? You know how uncommon a -3? There's probably only like 5 -4s, -3s in the game. And that's probably most of them Ganondorf or like Steve something, right? Like it's just you have to but one thing you have to note, guys, think about everyone that isn't one of those 5 god tiers. Every other character. What every character has in common is that their worst matchup is one of usually Steve, Sonic, Game & Watch. Have you noticed that? Like, I think 80% of the characters in the cast, one of those 3 characters is their worst matchup. And that, to me, is the pure definition of a god tier character.
I don't think I disagree with Sonic. Like I think Sonic, as good as he is, he's mostly good because he's consistent, but he also has like he's not polarizing, but he's good.
He's not what?
He's not polarizing. Like he doesn't beat any characters like really hard. He beats obviously except for like the obvious fucking like Puff and Little Mac, let's say, but
Onyx, I gotta say,
I love you, bro.
I'm completely
you're gonna alright.
I agree with him on this.
Bro, what? Okay, so you guys play Sonic then.
Wait. Are we? Okay,
Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out.
I want to hear comparing top tiers against low tiers. That makes no sense to compare the two.
Exactly.
I didn't hear what you said. One more time.
I was saying this argument falls flat on its face once you start comparing top tiers to low tiers in any fighting game.
Yeah, we should not be looking past like the top 15, 20. Like that's just the game has evolved to the point where people don't lose the gimmicks no more. But let's let Sonix finish what he was saying.
No, that's what I was trying to say. Like Sonic does not like because HBox mentioned that the thing that a lot of the thing that the god tier characters have in common is that the other characters losing matchups are usually one of those 5, and it's like I was saying that as good as Sonic is, he doesn't really like destroy anybody like that outside of low tiers. Like Game & Watch can do it. Like Steve can do it. Obviously, Rob can do it.
No, of course. Those are the best 5 characters.
Okay. Let me.
Yeah, I'm talking about everyone outside of that.
Okay, you want to hear something crazy? DK actually does really good against Sonic.
DK's actually not terrible against
DK.
Sonic, to be real.
Dude, he dies in 2 hits. Actually.
Yes, I'm gonna be honest. Like Sonic, like I was saying, like he just randomly loses or like has a hard time against random ass characters.
Everyone does.
Yeah, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like you can okay in theory in a perfect world, sure those are the best 2 and the top 5 are unbeatable if you go like off of matchup. But like we're human and like realistically, like even in Melee, you can always assume perfect Fox is gonna win every tournament, but that just doesn't happen. Like you know what I mean?
I guess it's just.
It depends if you want to live in a theoretical world, but if we're living in that world, Shulk's the best character in the game, and beats all 5.
Wrath. When's the last time Wrath that you lost to a DK?
When was the last time? I don't lose to DK, so.
Okay, Sonic. When's the last time you lost to a DK?
I don't lose to DK either, but I lose games though. We've both dropped games.
Data that backs it up. I'm like, there's gotta like when I say I think DK is scary for Puff and Melee, I fucking lost to DK 3 times in the past like 4 months against DK.
Okay.
And I'm the best Puff, you know what I mean? Like that's the definition of a bad matchup, I feel.
That's
it can be tricky, annoying, but it has to be like truly like some data has to be there, you know what I mean?
Okay, Ken lost to Runes. It was Runes. And I think he's also lost to Hikaru and Hero, like
I also lost to the Bowser player that I can't think of the name.
Hero. Yeah.
Okay. Harrow's DK or Bowser?
I think both actually.
Yeah, both. Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's better data. That's the stuff I need to believe that kind of statement. That's what you convince anyone really of that. Okay. I think with that being said, guys, I think we have basically covered all the topics that I wanted to. I think it's been a really good discussion. I think going forward, I kind of know now how to approach it. And I wanted to say I appreciate all you guys, of course, using your time to hop in here and talk with us today for this debate. It's actually been 3 hours, believe it or not. It's been really good. So chat, press one if you enjoyed the conversation. I know I did. I'm gonna let everyone have one last chance on the floor for closing thoughts. Who wants to? Still do one at a time. Let me start with Cirque. If there's anything last you want to say, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on topic and on brand. I'm gonna address commentary once again because that's my thing. Please, try harder. Like I love you guys, but we do have a responsibility to bring the best out of every single interaction, not just the matchups you like, the people you like. Like
Sonic loses 30
I'm not
matchups.
asking to be a hypocrite, but like if you're not passionate, if
But
you're not enjoying.
the thing is, and what the point I'm trying to make is that
Let someone else
it's very hard to really like determine matchups based off of, oh well, Sonix doesn't lose this matchup, or oh, Sonix lose. Like I would lose. I've lost to Light a lot. I never once thought Fox beat Sonic.
If you don't like it, then
But people base like you can't base a matchup based on data.
Let's go to Smacks. Any last words?
Like if anything, you should go to theory.
Well, first I want to say, thank you.
Like in theory, Sonic can lose to DK. I literally made them. I literally have my matchup chart, bro.
I know that discussions like this are usually like held in private or just like closed in, but it's nice for the viewers and the general audience to have.
Literally, like they don't. They always just try to gas up. Oh well, Sonic is just so good.
I think it's nice to have like that transparency and the line of communication with them. And on a final note, dude, DK got crazy gassed up in the stream for no reason. Like, DK got like treated like the secret top tier treatment in the stream for no reason. But I just found that kind of funny. And again, thank you so much for hosting.
Sure. Let me hop to Soar.
Not much to say. I already came in near the end, so I kind of said what I have to say. But my 2 cents is, I mean, just if there's money on the line, then like people should be allowed to use what is the most like effective strategy to win, right? And it's like that in every esport. I don't think characters should be banned for whatever reason, in my opinion, unless it's like very glaring and fucking everything up.
Win game 5 against SkyJ, true.
All right, and then McDan, go for it.
Wait, is that my stream?
So yeah,
holy shit!
Thanks for having
Yo,
all of us on.
23. What the hell? What the hell, bro? 23 gifted? You're crazy. Yo, thank you for the gifted, the laughing man.
Smash player, and I kind of like reciprocate that to a lot of people that are in my community and whatnot. And I kind of look at the situation as like a one day or day one mentality type of thing. So we can sit here all today.
That's a lot. My controller just fell, guys.
And come up with all these different types of
I've been in this shit for too long.
But,
my controller just fell.
Important that we at least focus on
oh my god, bro.
Going forward each week and really experimenting with
what we
have.
God.
I don't think subtracting any parts of the equation isn't the best idea. So getting rid of content in the game or getting rid of certain characters or certain choices really to me doesn't seem like a solution, and it never.
The one day I don't put my controller,
only because
like I don't put it away.
There does seem to be, at least for what I've seen for the Ultimate community.
It's not broken, but it was.
It feels like there is more excuses than solutions being passed around. And
okay, we're good. We're good.
Some of it is out of sheer concern for how
I'm gonna put it away.
The game can be. Some can be
I'm gonna put it away.
People bandwagoning and really not like getting behind.
You deserve it. Putting up with this nonsense. You're one of my favorite players because I love how you play the game. All the respect on Sonic good. So you learn the good. You can be good or you helping other Sonics be good. It's just crazy to me. It is crazy.
We play here, and I think one way to make steps
and strides
towards that is
It's okay.
offering
I have my Sonic
solutions, even
controller
if they're
waiting
not
for me.
released. They're
Keep up
at
the good work.
least-
Thank you,
there's
stranger.
at least, you know, a big community to really explore all different types of possible answers to. So
Thank you, McDan and Jet.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of stuff that people will always be unhappy when things don't change, and I think that exploring new options like you're doing is a great thing, and I think that it's
I
good for
can't
the
believe we
student
went
community and the
on
people
this.
involved.
Like we all have a
So
bunch
keep
of
doing that, and
are playing like
we're
Unway and
gonna
like
do
how can we
fine.
saw that
Smash
Sonic and not
Smash is a
Sonic
wonderful
just
thing,
being
and I
that
want to
good,
see it keep
right?
succeeding on forever and ever.
I'm gonna finish Sonic the Black Knight.
And
Good luck.
we also got Arbiter in last words.
Could have more caught so many strays.
Not really. I mean, I think the big glaring issue is that we all
Wrath has caught so many strays. Yeah. I'm telling you, they just.
So, I think the fact that everyone's trying to come together and fix everything is kind of cool. But I do need to. I just want to say like, it's not anyone's fault this is happening. It's not Sonic's fault. It's not Maya's, Game & Watch.
Maya's.
It's just, I think Jake said it. This game is just kind of like really, really funny, in a bad way. So, I think I would encourage people that if we do try these new things to just, don't say anything terrible about it until we see it happen, right? Because that's a huge thing. Anytime we do something new,
I brought up how it was Sonic's winning, and he brought up Wrath like that was a dunk, like brother. Yeah. Nice Supersonic shirt. Thank you. Got it from people at Hypeland. Goats.
in this debate, and I think just people that have a voice, they know who they are. In general, should just let these things play out for a little bit until we say, "Oh, this is really good," or "This is really shitty." So.
You're thinking for the follow, Noir, Spider, Dry Turnip, J Rush. You're strong, bro. What are you trying to say? For sitting in here for 3 hours? I don't know how you're doing it. It's a topic I'm passionate about, especially because I know that most of these comments come from HBox's community, so not that I care, but might as well take the chance.
All right, and we'll hop to Wrath. Go for it, Wrath.
Well, one of the things that I do want to say is thank you for hosting this and thank you for having me here. But I also have two things I want to say, and they're kind of both related to each other. I think we should advocate for more stage variety, whether it's smaller, medium-sized, or bigger stages. And then the last thing I want to say is, or will ask, is how many people, and if you want to run a poll on this, you can, but how many people, whether it's a spectator competing or so on and so forth, know that PS2 is the biggest stage in the game, bigger than Town and Kalos? Knowing that Kalos is the same size as Small Battlefield. Stuff like that. And you can look at the stage. You can look at the stage graphics. They are literally on. I forgot what the site was called, but those
I live
stages
longer on
are
PS2.
smaller than PS2. Huh?
I live longer.
Pornobeta.com. Rockman posted it earlier.
Yeah, PS2 is the biggest stage in the game, bigger than Kalos, bigger than Town. Kalos and Small Battlefield are the same size. It's literally just
big facts. No
yeah.
one knows it. I don't know why no one knows it.
I
don't know
I
what's
definitely live longer on Kalos.
Kalos is smaller, basically.
It's because of the blast zones, but the length, the floor of the length is the same one.
I can do the floor being the same. I'm talking about the ceiling. Like Puff dies earlier on Kalos than PS2.
Oh no, the blast zones are different, but I meant in terms of stage size. When people are talking about like camping and stuff, it's the same size in terms of like.
I can see that. I thought we were talking about like when I think of Kalos big, I think of like blast zones big. To me, that's like Dreamland in 64.
Oh no, that's not it. Sorry.
3 stream watch streak. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, and finally,
Wait, you're
Sonic.
skipping me. You're skipping
Oh,
me.
Snake. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought I just saw you. Snake, go ahead. Last thoughts.
Okay. So first off, I agree. T over A.
Chat, what do I say? Do I just backtrack and say, you know what, ban Sonic, ban Steve, fuck it?
I like
I'll win with Roy.
WarioWare, but I think that we need to try it with all the neutral stages allowed. I think we need to try it with
No, I'm not gonna say
all these
that.
options and see how that affects the counter picking.
I'll just point out that I
would also
have
like to
won
see more
coin boxes with other
experimentation
characters
rules that's
before.
not strictly for casual, but in
Say
terms of
1k for
this,
DK.
because I want
Don't
to see
give them
what lessons
fire,
we can
lol.
take
No, I'm not
away
gonna say
from these
that.
experiments, not just for
Actually, I would
Coinbox,
like
but
to
for
announce that I will
the
no longer be
next
entering coin
future
boxes.
Smash game. What we can see as far as, okay, if we're having a problem with defensive characters, maybe we need to allow more small stages. Maybe we need to allow more large stages.
Oh my god.
I think we need to have more. I think that this is a valuable moment that we can walk into Smash 6 with whatever new information we get from our experimentation. Thank you all for your time.
Gotcha. Thank you, Arbok. And finally, Sonix.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you for being civil enough to have this conversation with us and obviously having us here. And I mean, I've told you this in person and I've said it before, and when I said it earlier, like, again, I really just wanted to get my thoughts in just to kind of see, but I really had no hopes in change. Like, I thought it was like a decision that was already made, and so. But yeah, no, I appreciate you hearing us out, and regardless, whatever happens, even if in the future you do decide to like ban Sonic once a month or whatever, like I am still grateful for these kind of opportunities because, like I've said before, the Coinbox is my main way of practicing for majors because I'm able to really get into that mentality and get in that mindset and just make every major feel like a Coinbox to me. So I appreciate that, and also I did want to say, just wanted to throw it out there because I know you mentioned you wanted me to go DK, and if I go DK and win, you're gonna throw in $500. I did win a coin box with Crom before. Specifically, I only won Crom in grants. You can look it up, but I beat Crom. Yeah, I beat Jazzo in grants with Crom before.
Okay, I could see. Yeah, I could see that being the case there too.
And I got top 3 with Bayo before. Like, it was a solo Bayo run. It was a juice box, but
who was in top 2?
Back then it was a weird juice box because it was I lost to Wadi in losers finals. Like, I'm talking, it was 2021. I don't remember the players that entered and didn't. But yeah. Anyway, I will maybe because I know chat's probably like waiting on the DK now. We'll see about that because if Chunky has not, bro, if Chunky hasn't done it, it's gonna be hard. Because I don't play DK. As much as I understand the game, DK's rough. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Aside from that, I think it was a productive discussion, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's doubles coin box. So.
All right. Well, make sure everyone gets into that. I don't think it's live just yet because I'm waiting on Last to put it live. But the moment it is, I'm going to tweet it out. Get your teammates and to the rest of you guys in the call. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, HBox. Have a good night, bro.
No, man. Have a good one.
You have no excuse to not know the difference. Bruh. At this point, I just want it to be over, bruh. I just wanted it to be over. I might have looked like a dick rider saying that at the end. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why I said that, but fuck. I said it. It is what it is. Because I mean, I'm telling you, I was genuinely prepared for the worst. Like, definitely did a little bit, but it's okay. I just, I don't know why I said that, but even then, I was just prepared for the worst. So the fact that it didn't happen, I'm genuinely grateful for it. Cause, yeah, even then, 4 hours. You ready for me to pay you for a DK coin box? DK time? I mean, if you guys literally... I don't know. I'll consider it. The thing is, DK's so bad, man. DK is so bad. Like, DK has... Don't get me wrong. I think DK has potential to do good. You know what? I think based off of my advantage state alone, I think that DK could do good. If they banned him once a month, it would 100% have turned into a permaban. Probably. How many subs for you would you take for DK? Ah, man. Dub indeed, but I don't want him to think I was glazing him or some shit, bro. Like, I see him in tournaments and shit. That'd be fucking weird. But regardless, do DK in winners, and if you fall into losers early, just clutch with Sonic. I could do that. I mean, I think I could unironically do good with DK, cause like I'm thinking if I were to go DK, right? If I were to go DK, the only difference I would have between him and Sonic, aside from because advantage is actually pretty similar, the main difference would be lack of out of shield options for the most part. But then at that point, I just punish what people do when they do things on block. Like if they shield after doing something on block, I just grab them out of shield or something. So like I have ideas, but some crazy ideas went on there. But the people who believe Sonic should be banned are crazy. If Sora are good with main characters, then no doubt you can too. I absolutely think I can. DK though, DK's DK's fucking garbage. Like I don't think Sparkle would ever pull out a DK, for example. Jump up, be out of shield. That's actually decent. But yeah, we'll see. I think it was a productive discussion. Despite I do think it was drawn out for a lot longer than it should have. But at least at the same time though, like, and this is why I just wanted to be in here, because I just want to like genuinely speak my thoughts and speak my mind on these things. But at the same time, if we're gonna have like a crazy rule set coin box, then it might as well be the same as Sonic being banned. Like at once a month at the end of the day. But I think all in all, I have to look at this in the way of he didn't get banned. It does not set a precedent, because had Sonic gotten banned, it would have set a precedent for, oh, Sonic got banned at this event. Sonic is banned at Coinbox. Why can't we ban him at Let's Make Moves, for example? Obviously, that wouldn't happen. But I'm using that event as an example. But I think that was the main thing we wanted to prevent today, and I think we did a great job at that. I'm gonna leave it at that though, guys, because it's kind of late. Not because it's late, but I want to eat. The dub is not getting him banned too. True. You did miss the end, yes. Is HBox still streaming? He's still streaming? Who the fuck was that talking? You just defended Sonic for 3 hours. I will. This Sonic the Hedgehog shit is serious, man. He got more people talking about it. Oh man. I'll raid Chaos. I was gonna raid him, but if they're just still talking about it, then I'll play again tomorrow evening or this weekend. But alright. But yeah, I think that ultimately, like, you know, I've been a Twitter warrior all day. Bro, you tell me about it. Turn up that DK, bro. Birthday tomorrow. Happy early birthday. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by and just chilling. And also thank you for the ideas and the arguments that some of you did, or some of you presented, rather. I appreciate that. yeah. Today we took a W. Tomorrow, new YouTube video, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I need to eat because ain't no way we've been going for 3 hours now. I don't even be streaming for 3 hours, let alone for a debate. But that's crazy. Hbox trying to rewrite history is insane, though. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Hopefully, one day, our community will grow big enough to overpower such opinions, and maybe we can shift the narrative about Sonic being boring to watch. What's for dinner? I actually don't know. But yeah. Take care, guys. Peace.